let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week podcast.
Be right again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's not static, AM radio. It's the Cool Bed Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
God, I love that song. What's up? Good morning. Welcome to the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev, in for the boys. I want to start off with a conch, if I may, Trev, for Joaquin Bartholomew Gage, who's just been crushing it, filling in.
Crushing it.
You've been doing great.
The only thing I crush is beers, Tommy.
We'll be doing that later today
I
on
know,
Sobeys
that's
Safeway
why
Liquor
I'm
Beer of the
here.
Week.
Yeah.
Citizen is the beer of the week, and we'll be doing that around 8:30. We have a great show for you as well. Good morning, Nasties. I have not been on the morning show. I co-hosted with Dusty on Monday,
Yeah.
and that was my first time on the show in a while, but like in Dusty's chair. This is the
Yeah.
first time since I think like November or December.
Oh, really?
Something like that. It's been a really long time, and I'm thankful that I haven't had to get up that early in that long, but this is a good one. Dusty away, obviously, CFL on TSN, LTE away for the time being, and we're all here together, one big happy family, and yes, we'll be crushing some beers later, and we have a lot to get to. YouTube Trev had a huge smile when I walked in.
Oh yeah, it's nice to when you get up this early. And when you come in, you get that straight shot at Trev, and he just gives you the nod.
Yeah,
the
he does
and
that. It's
the
very
slight
welcoming.
Smile. Yeah, it feels good. Thank you.
It's very
Phone book.
welcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yes.
It's a good day. It's a Friday. It's always the best day of the week. And wasn't tired at all waking up this morning. I don't know. I was catching up on sleep all week, but this morning I was just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. As soon as I got up, and I can feel it, boys. Let's go.
Let's go.
We're gonna have a great show today. Yep.
Energized. Good morning, Nasties. And, of course, the Nielsen Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. And for the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask. Tell them EST sent you. You'll get 15% off accessories on your new ride. You got to your deal right now is Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. Visit their website, www.southfortchev.com. We have a lot. Like, this show has gotten so much busier in terms of segment sponsors and this and that, and that's a sign of good things. I think Dusty's term for that is advertising with us works.
It does. It makes me want to go get a Tahoe. I've always wanted a Tahoe, though. I remember
They're
when
nice.
I got cut from the Swift Current Broncos and was driving back to Medicine Hat to go home, and the guy that took me was in a Tahoe. It
Yep.
was an
older one, right?
And it made the whole sting of being cut a lot easier.
Smooth ride.
I wasn't
Nice
really
ride.
cut too. There was something on there. That's for another show.
The politics of hockey.
It's brutal.
I feel like the politics of hockey. I worked at hockey school the last couple of weeks. I'm
Yeah.
going back next week to do the last one of the summer for this particular hockey school. And like Gage, I've got story. I haven't had a chance to tell you some of the stories. Like,
Yeah.
like moms going into the locker room to scream at kids, not their kids for
other
doing
kids.
stupid stuff, the other kids.
Wow.
And all of this, I don't think we have it here, or it's not as prevalent as Live Barn. Have you heard of Live Barn?
No.
It's basically cameras. You can watch the game. I know some rinks have where you can watch
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game online. There's a live feed. And then there's security footage as well in this one particular arena that we were at down the hallway. You can hear everything. So all the craziness, and I'm talking crazy crap, this lady pulled off was all caught on camera, and you could hear everything. And she went berserk. And really quickly, like I'll tell the story really quickly, Cole's notes. Her kid was the problem. He was starting fights. He was poking at other kids. He was jabbing them with jokes and commentary. And then the other kids, there's a couple kids from New York at this camp. And this one kid that was the bad apple, that was starting everything, instigating, if you will, got to the New York kids, and the New York kids didn't take no crap.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And their dads were just their dads would be there every day. They'd be sitting there at this really nice like bar and restaurant, and they would have a bite to eat, and then they'd have a couple beers, and they're like, I give Hunter this money I got to go somewhere for lunch. Give him lunch money, and this guy's pulling out a wad of hundreds, and I'm like, okay, like I'll give Hunter, like how much does this kid need for lunch?
Can I go with
He
them?
gave him 30, and I was like, "That's it." Yeah, exactly. But you could tell it kind of has that New York attitude, right?
Yeah,
And there's
yeah.
2 or 3 of these kids, and their dads were there, good dudes. Like you could just shoot the breeze with them, right? And this mom, the Friday is the game day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And in the handshake line, the kid said something, the bad apple, and the New York kid just said, "I'm done with this guy." and chirped him back, and then a fight broke out.
Oh my God.
All my
How old are these kids?
these are like 10-year-olds,
Oh, nice.
okay, and all these kids like or half of them are handshakes, and then these 2 guys are going at it. Other kids are trying to get in, and then all the other instructors and coaches are like, whoa, break it up, and they peel them off each other. You can see on the Live Barn feed this mom rip around all the way, run onto the bench, and start screaming at the kids, and then start screaming at the coaches, and then she peels back, and then we had to cut to a different camera feed down the hallway to the locker room, and she goes in there, and some of the kids were already going in, and she starts screaming at the kids, "You punks don't know how to treat other kids, this, that."
Wow.
And then, so all the other coaches knew this was going on. So they ran in there. They tried to calm her down. The guys in charge, the main guys, were like, whoa, you can't be yelling at kids. You can't. First of all, I'm assuming we have something like this in Canada and Alberta, but like, I think it's like safe sport or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. They call it down there where if you're like not a coach and you're not like certified or anything like that, you cannot be in a locker room with a kid alone. Right?
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you cannot be in here. She's like, you can't tell me to leave. You can't. She's hot, right? Like nothing is going into her mind. She's just giving it out. And so the guys, my buddies that run the camp, they're like, okay, all the kids out, go to the other locker room. All of this is happening on camera. And then you could see and hear like the yelling after all the kids are out. All the kids in the other locker room are seeing what's going on, and they start chanting, "Karen, Karen, Karen."
That's great.
And then
10-year-olds?
Yeah, because they see it. Like, Gager, it was that bad. And then finally, the coaches are like, all right, like clearly there's no point in even trying to communicate. She's not even, is this a one-way thing? And it's her way, and that's it. So they literally left her in the room.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she's going to have to simmer down. She's chucking all the kids' gear everywhere.
Are you serious?
No joke.
Holy
She went into
s-
all the bags and was throwing things everywhere.
Wow.
And then finally she like storms out, flips off our guys, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll deal with this when she cools down. And then we had an instructor there who's a skills coach with an NHL team. He's always there. And he's also from New York. He doesn't take no BS. And so he tried to talk to her. And he's older. He's in his 50s or late 50s. And she is ripping him a new one. No idea who he is. And so one of the kids' sticks got chucked. And our coach was like, okay, let us know if anything got broken, if anything's been stolen. We clearly know how and who did this.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was all good. No broken sticks or anything, especially the sticks. $400 a pop. And at the end of the day, we find out that her kid getting into this camp was a favor through a friend.
That
was the
great. That's
cherry
great.
on top.
I always said, when I did a lot of hockey schools, I always said to kids, look, if I know your name by, within the first few hours of this camp, either you're really good or you're a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't be the latter. That's what I said. Because it's usually true. You learn the kids' names that are kind of they're going to be an issue throughout throughout the whole thing. That's I mean, the only experience I have of that now is with my daughter in dance, and I don't think it matters what sport it is. Parents get crazy over their kids, which is
I understand.
I understand that part, but you're not the only person there, too. Like, I don't know what's wrong with people that you try to make it an enjoyable environment for everyone. I tell phone book Trev, he's got to calm down. We're
it's so hard to.
It's really terrible back there. His mom's probably like 2 minutes from coming in here and reaming you and I out.
Be nice to him, you punks. So there was that. And
in the immortal words of Mr. Miyagi, there's no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher.
Oh, that is wisdom. That is some 80s wisdom. I love that. Get your text in 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Large, high-quality selection of engagement rings included with lab created at great prices. Of course, Paris Jewelers, family owned and operated with 22 stores in 4 provinces across Canada, exclusive Star Wars and Marvel wedding bands. Of course, Dusty would have that in the liner notes. And I still need to go see Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. I want the constant jokes I keep hearing about. I want the cameos. I've seen the Channing Tatum Gambit. And I'm trying to avoid everything I can. And I know,
don't try not to look, but I'll just give you the fourth wall gets shattered quite a bit.
Great.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. But have you seen the Brothers Grimsby?
No.
Oh my God, another one.
Wait. Is that Sacha Baron Cohen?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen it. Where he's
okay.
like the soccer hooligan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. Jeez. Trev and I have been laughing about this all week.
Yes, I've seen that one.
So good.
Brother, so you guys, you made him watch Brothers Grimsby?
No,
'Cause that's a little bit older.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it was the start of the week. Like I just I'm doing something. I'll throw this movie on. I'm kind of like Dusty, where I have something going in the background while I'm working.
Yes.
I said, that's an old movie. I haven't seen that in a while. End up not doing any work and just laughing. Because I forgot a lot of the scenes.
It's a fun, stupid movie.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And then I came in and Dusty hadn't seen it. So I was like, Dusty, have you seen this? And then Trev goes, I have. and so we didn't want to ruin it because I said, you got to watch it on the plane. Because, I think on a plane when you're watching something and it's funny, you don't want to be like belly laughing, right? But that has some... I think it's right in Dusty's wheelhouse of humor. So,
Absolutely, it is.
It'll be very difficult for Dusty not to let out that boisterous laugh. So it'll be even funnier to him. Big guy, exit aisle, laughing hysterically. That's going to scare everyone on the plane. Like, what's wrong with this psychopath?
This large man laughing hysterically at a British comedy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Brothers Grimsby, I would put it into the category with Hot Fuzz and what was the other Simon Pegg one?
The World's End.
The zombie one. Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Because it's like you see the cover if you're flipping through Netflix or whatever, and you see the name, and you're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I'm gonna pass by it. But then you like someone tells you about it, like you did to the boys, and it's like that's a funny movie because Brothers Grimsby. It's Sacha Baron Cohen, who's a brilliant guy, great artist, very controversial.
What was the other guy's name again? Trev, do you remember his name? Yeah, but I like him too.
Isn't it Jason Statham in it?
No, it's the other English guy. He was the first bad guy in Sherlock Holmes, Zero Dark 30. I forget what.
Anyway, Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great.
And anyway, just watch it. There's some gnarly jokes in there and some gnarly parts.
Yeah.
Glad you brought that up. Also, text of the day brought to you by A&W. You can get hooked up with the GC if you send in a good one. We do have a good show for you today. We have Tim Hauraney who will be joining us at 7:05. We'll talk a little racing, some F1, obviously, still in summer break. I mentioned to you that all I'm seeing from Ferrari on their social media posts are like Gilles Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher stuff. And then they'll be like, Gilles Villeneuve. And then Charles Leclerc. Michael Schumacher. Carlos Sainz.
Well, Carlos finally
made his decision. Why is he going? He's going to Williams.
Yeah, but
why?
I think he likes the direction. And I think
because the guy that was from Mercedes, like the numbers guy is there.
Yeah, and I don't. We'll talk to Tim about it, what he thinks. But Albon has been doing quite well with that car. Like he's competitive in that middle of the pack, right? And Logan Sargent's just hasn't been able to do anything.
No.
He'll probably be in IndyCar next year, hopefully for him.
Tim can tell us about that.
I mean, if you look at those two drivers, those are two pretty good drivers, right? Like that's a formidable team. So with I'm interested with once the regulations, the car changes come in 2026. I wonder if Williams is really focusing on that, and that's kind of the appeal that drew Carlos there.
To get him is significant.
Yeah.
To make strides within is significant. And I know that they had a change in ownership as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they have big bucks behind them now? I mean, these are all big bucks.
Yeah, I don't
think
about it,
but
I don't think they have huge bucks, but if you look at Carlos's where he's been, like Red Bull, Ferrari, Alpine? There was another Renault, I guess. In there.
I remember Renault, which became Alpine, right?
Yeah. So he, I think that he's never been the big dog there. You know, he's kind of the up and comer. Now he's more
established.
Veteran presence a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I think it gets to a point where the input of what you want with the car, like seniority a little bit, right? Like if you go to Max asks anything to do that they're doing it, right? So a younger guy, and I just think now his voice resonates probably with the mechanical team a little bit more, just from the input that he can provide, because that's what they talk about Fernando, right? Like a lot, or Alonso.
Yeah. Alonso. That's what I
need. The way he can help put together the car is they didn't realize how much information he can provide.
That's incredible. That's the engineering of race cars, and like the finest of race cars, obviously. So that's going to be a good conversation. I know I'll get it going, and then you and Tim can nerd out, because I'm curious, and I know we're in summer break, like I mentioned, but Tim's gonna hop on, and then right after that, we're gonna talk to Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media. He's been on the Elks beat for years and years and years. This was his first year, like full-time Oilers beat, but obviously deep ties with what's going on with the Elks. The Double E, change in ownership announced yesterday. The huge news. We were down at Commonwealth, and a very important day in the sports world in Edmonton.
Yeah, what did you think of LT in his interview and
Larry
stuff?
Thompson? He's not a public-facing guy.
Nonsense is what Trev and I were saying before.
Yes, fair. Like he's not there to showboat. I don't think. Like obviously he's done. His expertise is in construction and business and all that, and talking to the media. I don't know if he's going to want to do it a lot. I don't know if he's going to want to address the media yearly or biannually, whatever. Like, I think he's going to find a president that'll handle that and have people to delegate to do that. And if he needs to talk, something comes up, like it always does. It's pro sports. Maybe he will. But yeah, you got to do the introductory press conference. His wife, Deb, was lovely. The whole family was front row, all the kids, all the grandkids. They had Thompson 75th anniversary jerseys. And like Gager, it's exciting, but kind of it's an unknown in this city. Like all we've known is the Elks have been a community-owned franchise. And so is it going to be better? I mean, it can't get worse than what it's gotten to.
I was telling Trev and I were talking about it before we went on air, and I was just listening to it. I didn't watch it. So my first initial, the way I was thinking was, okay, this guy's been in construction business, like no nonsense. This with the the sharp answers a little bit. But then when they asked him, I don't know who asked the question, who's your favorite player? A distinct softening and happiness and excitement in his voice. Complete change. Like, and he rattled off all those names. He goes, I don't have a favorite. Then I was like, okay, this guy loves this team.
Yes.
He knows everyone from every year since he was 12 years old or whatever at his first game. So that's why, like, okay, I can see it. And why not? If he's obviously a huge CFL fan.
Yes.
Just, watching his, what did he say? I forget how he phrased it, but I take in as many games as possible.
Yeah.
And that's encouraging. That's what you want. You don't want just some business guy doing it for whatever. This guy's got, I think his intentions at the end of the day are to make the Edmonton, whatever the name's going to be, the Elks, successful.
And that's all you want.
That's what you want. Yeah.
Someone was asking me yesterday, well, what changes? I go, well, the decision-making process certainly gets faster.
Yeah.
The board, which serviced this team for 75 years to varying degrees of efficiency, is no longer in the picture. And it sounds more and more, especially the last couple decades, that the board got in the way more than it helped or allowed the football and business people that were hired to do their jobs. Yeah. We heard more of those stories, and that's too bad. And it got to the point where they're like, all right, we're going to sell his team. And if he, like he said, he's a lifelong fan of the team, has the means to buy it, has the means to nurture it and make sure that the future is bright. Under whatever banner, like he did say the name stays Elks right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't, and there's a reason why this Eskimos discussion has come up, because not only him and his ownership bid, but like it sounded like there were a few that had brought that topic up. Maybe he looks into it quietly, right? But that's tough to do because it's a lightning rod of controversy around here, and I understand why. Maybe at the end of the day, there is a change. Maybe at the end of the day, Gager, we're sitting here in 6 months, 10 months, 12 months, and they decide, you know what, Elks is the best way to go. We looked at it. We looked at the feasibility of Esk, let's say.
It's a majestic creature, Tommy.
The elk?
Yeah.
It really is.
It is.
And someone mentioned to me, too, there is a history of Edmonton Elks football in this city. I think it goes back to like the 20s or 30s. There's a story there.
And, when you walk the concourse and I see the people that go to games, and I see the kind of the grandpa that still goes with his old Eskimos jersey or whatever. They're uniquely placed to create lifelong fans. And unfortunately, I mean, the Oilers, they're at a price point where it's very hard for families to go, for the most part.
Yes.
But you see way more kids at these games, obviously, right? But that's how you, I forget who we were talking about. That's how you grow the game is, your favorite team, you bring your kids, they become fans, they get part of it. Cass's girls are probably going to be Elks fans for the rest of their lives.
They were there the other day.
Going onto the field afterwards.
Yep.
As a kid, you always remember those first kind of big events that you go to. And I mean, obviously the first thing they have to do is fix things on the field. But once they do, I think they're in I think they're in a better position to create something now with new direction that creates fans for life.
I like that, and I mean the Elks, Eskimos, over the last 10, 15 years have taken a shellacking.
Yeah,
and some of it is their own doing, right?
Yeah,
they've created some harm for themselves, and then some of it were outside factors. So we'll see where this goes. But this is a new day, a new dawn, potentially for a brighter future for the Double E. And that's another thing, too. You didn't see any antlers around that press conference. Okay. It was Double E. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But this is a fan of the team who has the means to buy it, and now can usher in this new era. And Bones texting and says, how much did it cost Thompson to buy this team? Interested. TJ, know what CFL franchises are worth. Yeah. He was asked about that. He was not going to disclose it. I've heard different things. Because it was a community-owned franchise, like what do the Elks technically own?
It's an asset purchase, right? Not a shares purchase.
Right.
Or whatever how they worded it.
There was confusion as to, because there were shareholders.
Yeah.
I had been told that like upwards of 75. Someone mentioned maybe even 90. Apparently, they had to find some that they forgot were shareholders.
Yeah.
And that I think speaks to how long it's been a community-owned franchise. So all that gets cleaned up, taken care of, and this new era begins. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. And Gager, you hit it on the head. If the team's winning, you getting the young fans in there. You bringing back some of the old fans. You open the door to new fans that are maybe new to the game of football. Like BC is a great example. I saw Amar Doman, who's the owner of the Lions, took over a year or two ago. He did a video where he's holding vertical video where he's holding up the cell phone, and he's like, we got this weekend, this and this, and we're doing a special day for terminally ill children, and it's going to be a parade to the stadium. And then and that's a different style of ownership. He's a younger guy. He kind of gets it where things are going.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's fine. But yeah, if Larry Thompson and the Thompson family wants to know what a good template is,
just look
at Vancouver. Like Larry Thompson doesn't have to be like, hey, what's up, kids? Come to the game. No, that doesn't have to happen.
Awesome. Yeah. With that voice, it would be great.
Yeah, like he doesn't have to do that. That style, if it works in Vancouver, great. It might not work at Edmonton, but to see the excitement.
Yeah.
The Doman in his video yesterday was like, hey, the upper deck's open now.
Yeah.
We're opening it up because it's going to be busy. We're going to have a great time. This is the place to be. It's an event. It's a destination. And we've got it locally with the Riverhawks and the Stingers. Really good price points, and they don't break the bank. You have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You remember it. The kids have a good time. And so there's points of reference that the Thompsons and the Elks going forward can use. It's fine. I think, if the intention is there, the means are there, they'll probably have some success.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Text us your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Of course, we have Tim Hauraney and Gerry Moddejonge, who will be by to talk Elks and the transition. Elks, the sale of the Elks and going to a single owner, too. That was something Gerry really busted open about 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
Where he started talking about it in the paper. So we'll get to that in an hour with Gerry and then half an hour with Tim Hauraney. Keep those texts coming in. ContraQuest, too, if you want to get those in. 780-218-9999. What's up, Nasties, via the Nasty Chat. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, YouTube Trev. We're going to have to get to Crack Pack, which I'm looking forward to. But now time for a sports update with YTT.
Can't wait.
It's official, Phil Thompson is the newest owner in the CFL. This is the first time in the franchise's 75-year history that it will not be community-owned. The 2-7 Elks face the 2-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats in their first game on this road trip. Kickoff for that one starts tomorrow at 5. The Ottawa Redblacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders last night in a thriller by the score of 31-29 thanks to Lewis Ward's 51-yard kick with no time on the clock. Tonight in the CFL, just one game, which sees the best in the West, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, taking on the number 1 seed in the whole CFL, the Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes' Cody Fajardo is listed as backup QB for tonight's game and will dress for the first time in a month. In the majors, the Blue Jays hit off their 3-game series tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. The Jays have won their previous 4 games heading into their afternoon ball game, which starts at 12:20. Elsewhere in sports, Austin Matthews has officially hit the ice with the C. Blue Jackets GM has gave Patrick Laine permission to talk to any team he wants to, and Nicolas Cage will be playing NFL legend John Madden in an upcoming biopic. If you've been a victim of Dustin Nielsen's airport crime spree, please contact Nisku Glass for your windshield replacements. We can also take care of any of your other glass-related needs, like full-length custom mirrors to check your fit for the Estes. Call Nisku Glass at 780-955-7989 or check out our Instagram to see what we can do for you. Oh, this is a good one.
I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
.636, it's the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. He's got the CFL on TSN this weekend, as per usual. And then Joaquin Gage, riding shotgun. It's going to be a fun show. We're half an hour into it. And then YouTube Trev, rocking and rolling on this August morning. Great show on the way. Tim Hauraney, of course. Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media. And then we've got Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, as well as kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many. We'll get to as many texts as we can. Conch requests, get those in. I give them out like candy, I've realized. I was watching when I was away. I was watching like early in the morning. And then the other day, I'm like, you guys aren't conching. What the hell? I guess it's a me thing. I give out tons of conches. So let's get some conch requests in. If you got something good, someone's birthday, someone you're proud of, or you're just thinking of, and you want to conch them, let us know. 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox, and then via the nasty chat as well. Speaking of the Paris Jewelers inbox, Bones again with this beautiful portrait of Dr. Alan Grant waving a flare in the rain with a flipped over Jeep with some children caught underneath there, and ray gun standing over in the was it the kangaroo hop?
It's a full lunge T-Rex to me. It looks like to me, Tommy.
You were talking about ray gun defending herself.
I've been fascinated.
You said
by
you
this.
deep dived into
well,
this.
my algorithm doesn't allow me not to do a deep dive.
Go
now
on.
with ray gun.
I'm curious.
Well, the first thing that popped up yesterday was her public service announcement that I don't know, Tommy. She goes into how hard she worked and how it's a lifestyle. And look, I can see that she's getting a lot of backlash from it. But
yes.
She said she put in the work. I don't know. From what I've seen, her battling other people, good for her if she thinks she's at the caliber of some of the people she faces.
Like an Olympic breaker.
I consider myself a little bit more knowledgeable than most in the art of dance, in the art of body movement.
Yes.
And she is not good. It is not good at all.
It's not hard to figure that out.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
Like everyone's bust a move and looks like a lane at some point. But it's just these pieces that are coming together. There's 40,000 signatures in Australia right now to do a deep dive into this. Like they're worried about.
How did she make the team?
Well, they set up the committee. From what I've looked at, and look, I've looked at a few different sites, and her husband was on the board of this and in the selection committee of who was going to the Olympics, and he picked his wife. And that's fine if you're good, but you're terrible.
Yeah,
it's awful. It's embarrassing. Like when you watch her full routine, the 2 rounds that she competed in, the other person destroys her. Like they're way better. And then she goes on to say, if you don't know, breaking isn't the point system. I didn't get 0. I go, yeah, you did, because she got 0 out of against. I think it was. Oh shoot, I forget the other person's name that she was.
We had a group chat about this yesterday. You sent like the scoring.
I showed you the breakdown of the scoring, and there's probably there's from all the different judges. I think there's like 6 different categories per 7 judges, and there was only 2 points where she was
registered.
That registered more than the person she was Skrillex or whatever.
Vocab and Orig.
Yeah,
she scored.
Well, I think the original, like I was looking back, I'm trying to find where the judges actually gave her the points.
I have it right here.
I know, but I'm asking why she got. I did like when
what part of the routine?
who she was breaking against. She was taking notes. Like that was funny. Like because it's attitude towards like you're going up against. So that was kind of funny. But other than that, man, I think if this comes out, so Dusty and I were talking. This should be the 30 and 30, E60.
It has to be.
Yeah, because
she's an Olympian now.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away from her.
She said in her little blurb there that I'm taking some deserved time off, before I go back to Australia, and I'm like, that's going to be one heck of a welcoming when she comes back.
Well,
there's going to be there's going to be questions. I mean,
there should be questions. That was horrible. Even I could tell. Like there are memes of people when she's doing like that thing on the ground, like the Homer Simpson. There were guys getting their wives to take video of them on the kitchen floor doing the same routine, and I'm like, that's exactly the same.
The when she's doing like the Running Man on her
that's
side,
the one,
and you have the Peter Griffin. It's unbelievable. So I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know I don't know whether to thank her or be mad. I'm not mad. I'm a little bit upset that when I see that, and I don't know this, but it's been the same video a few times where they say this is the battle that put her in the Olympics, or the dance that did it. Okay, and I'm like, and I don't know. It could be just another battle that she's in.
Sure,
but no, we haven't seen anything like this at the Olympics in years.
The Olympics, as robust as the Summer Olympics are, provide us with some of these gems that will be forever engraved in our minds and we can revert back to. I look at breaking, and I'm very happy. Was it Phil Wizard?
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him for taking home gold for Canada.
Yeah.
And I know I saw the memes of like, this Olympic gold medalist is the same as this Olympic gold, and like someone in the pool or 100 meter, 4x100 meter. Like, I get those comparisons, but like, listen, they're two different sports. I use sports in quotes for breaking. It's an art, obviously.
You put in a lot of work. Like but when Reagan talks about it, I spent the last 4,
Sure you did.
No, you didn't. You didn't put that much work. You could have put a little bit. You should have put in more, if that was the end result. But just to be that arrogant to think I can compete against these people that can do those types of things and think that my style is...
What that was not a style. That was not good.
No.
It was just not good. This can go two ways for Ray Gunn. All right? You can be combative. You can stand up for whatever the hell that was, your routine. You are an Olympian. And you can fight it. Right? You can fight it, and you can do that. Or you embrace it, and you run with it, and you take advantage of it. You market yourself and make some money and create some kind of legacy, because you have this moment where you have everybody's attention. Yeah. And it's going to close soon. How do you want to utilize it? Are you going to complain and bitch and moan that you are a true breaker and you know so much better than everybody else that they just don't understand, and you're ahead of the times in breakdance? Nobody's going to believe that.
No.
And I'm sure her peers don't feel that way. I can't speak for them.
Yeah,
or,
I'd like to hear the breaking community, what they say.
I'm sure they're laughing. Look at her scores. Or you embrace it, have fun with it, and then if look at Mike. Is it Mike Robertson? No, the guy that does Amazing Race Canada.
No.
He won
bobsledder.
He won like skeleton. In Vancouver, and he's chugging the beer down Whistler Main Street.
But he won, Tommy.
He won, but that is a great story. And you know what he did? He used that obviously, and he's turned it into a career. And he's done a fantastic job. He's got charisma, knows how to handle himself in front of the camera. Fantastic.
Well, even that, there's personalities born out of that Ilona Meyer, is that her name? The women's 7, the U.S. women's 7 rugby player. She's everywhere now.
Right.
She was on all the late night talk shows and stuff, but she's got a huge personality, right? Like
exactly, and embraces the opportunity, recognizes it, or she has good advice and she takes it, heeds it, and runs with it. Like Ray Gunn should go on Dancing with the Stars. That's what I'm saying. Oh my God! Right?
If Dancing with the Stars doesn't get Ray Gunn, that's a huge fumble.
And if she's not as full of herself as it sounds like, and you're like, oh, Ray Gunn's cool, and that turns into advertising and other opportunities. Or you can just fight it.
Yeah.
And go and be like, you don't understand breaking like I do.
Well, the thing I don't like is she did say, can you leave my family out of it, right? Like, so I don't know if the press are probably trying to ask for questions. Yeah. What is this? And I can see that if they don't want to be part of it, like, leave them alone.
Yes, and that's understandable. And that's being a little bit much, obviously. So,
thank you for
very interesting
letting me vent about Ray Gun.
I appreciate that.
It was good.
Deep dived into Ray Gun and Bones. Thank you for sending that photo. It's amazing. And and the other, I'll cap it off with this. If you think breaking was the most ridiculous sport in Olympics history, look up ski dance.
Oh, yeah.
It was in Calgary. And I think they did it again in Albertville in 92.
It used to be a big thing. I remember that old movie Hot Dog. You ever watch Hot Dog?
Unfortunately, I've not seen Hot Dog.
Oh, great skiing movie, guys. It's
All about
late
the
80s.
glizzies?
Oh man, I couldn't wait for my parents to, as a young boy, my parents to go to bed, and I could throw the Betamax of Hot Dog in. That was a good show.
Oh, all right. Let's get to a conch before we crack pack. And this comes in from Safety Bob. Texts in, says, "Morning, guys. For the first time in 19 years, my wife and I will not be together for our anniversary. She's the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I'm crushed we won't see each other. Can I get a conch for 19 years of marriage to my best friend? Have a good day. Let's go."
Nice.
Eskimos from Safety Bob. I love it. Happy anniversary.
Happy
Bob.
anniversary.
Let's see what else. My boy Hot Wheels Ben is turning 6 today. Can he get a birthday conch, please, boys? From Northside Adam. Of course, Northside Adam. Happy birthday, Ben. Can we get a conch for the RHT settlement? If you know, you know. Pizza guy Justin. What am I missing here? Yes, I guess so. Fergie's prostate. Good morning, Fergie says. Good morning, fellas. Can I get a conch, please, for the staff at Meta Yoga? Those damsels give me the best hugs ever. I'm enjoying the pairing of you and Joaquin this morning, Fergie's prostate. I like this one. We're going to conch this one from Tyler to Williger because it's funny. I'll take 40 years of Hawk Tua girl over ever having to see Ray Gun ever again.
But Hawk Tua girl's got a wicked personality.
She's sassy.
She's
Southern Belle.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Yes.
And she's extended this thing.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. She's funny.
She is.
She's really funny. So,
Yeah.
and she's everywhere. That's good. I like her.
Listen, Hawk Tua girl's hilarious. She is sassy. She's embraced it, taking advantage of that window. Hopefully, it turns into something for her, and she makes money. And
I think she already has.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and set herself up for her future.
Yeah.
In fact, she's super young. I think early 20s, obviously. But the best Hawk Tua meme or song I saw was the guy that did Leonard Cohen Hallelujah to Hawk Tua. And I'm just like, bravo, sir. Bravo. Well played. And he's got a voice like an angel. He's no Leonard Cohen, but it's pretty damn good. He hits those notes, and the lyrics are pretty funny as well. And he's got the Hawk Tua girl on slow-mo in the background. And that's different. Like, that's her embracing it. But yes, great point.
I see Smitty the Welder says about Ray Gun. She says leave her family alone, but her husband was the one who rigged her qualifying.
Right.
I think it was more her other family, brothers, sisters, whatever, things like that. Yeah, her husband should be put over the coals for this. This is
That's
it's awesome.
That's abuse of power. Let's call it that. All right, we're gonna abuse our power and get to the crack pack.
It turns out we do not have the jingle, so
What?
I'm very disappointed.
Sing
and
it.
Sad. I don't know how it goes. If you need the crack pack,
Keep going.
Okay, that's enough.
All right, we're gonna crack some
that's
packs.
all I got.
Brought to you by Wayne's Sports Cars, right?
Oh yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. I saw Wayne was on TV earlier in the
Wayne.
week. Fantastic. Okay, what do you got? We got the 2020-2021
Ooh, these
Upper
are
Deck Extended Series.
rookie cards apparently potentially.
Young Guns.
Broberg might be in here, and Dylan
Really?
Holloway.
You mean
that
future
was,
St. Louis
that
Blue?
was That was why.
I'm sorry
we-
I went there.
That was why the lady gave us these cards.
All right, Joaquin.
Oh, these are great. I got a checklist with Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois,
Sick.
Nate Schmidt,
Good, funny dude.
Kasperi Kapanen,
Very good.
Keandre Miller. Interesting.
Very good player.
Yeah, interesting hair. That's Evgeny Dadonov.
Ooh,
Ryan O'Reilly.
good player.
Devin Tays, and Tyler Pitlick.
Tyler Pitlick's still kicking around.
Yeah.
Second round pick of the Edmonton Oilers in 2010. All right, YouTube, Trev, what do you got?
My first pack. I've got Kyle Palmieri, Alexander Texier, Jesper Fast, Patrick Kane, William Nylander, Jamie Drysdale, and Ivan Barbashev. St. Louis Blues.
Nice. Eric Stahl, Minnesota Wild.
Wow.
Wearing an All-Star jersey.
Weird.
John Carlson, All-Star jersey. William Carrier in a Golden Knights reverse retro, harkening back to the Las Vegas Thunder. You
the Thunder.
Did you? Because you said you guys would play some
well,
exhibition games against them.
We were in an exhibition tournament down in Vegas.
Did you play against the Thunder?
They were blue. Am I wrong?
They were blue, but
okay.
So the Golden Knights did a tribute to them in their colors.
I see.
Braden Coburn, Joe Thornton in a Maple Leafs jersey. This one's an insert. It's a Dazzler. That's a weird one. Travis Konechny, Teddy Bluger, and Ryan Dzingel. All right, on to the 2022-2023 Series 1 Upper Deck cards.
Oilers. I was talking to Bill Guerin about this guy, and he just confirmed just a stud. Joel Eriksson Ek.
Who the Oilers were going to take in 2015 with that second first rounder.
That would have been good.
That was the guy they wanted, but they made the trade.
Ray's offspring, Mario Ferraro, isn't that his son?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he played the first San Jose. Chandler Stevenson.
Good player.
My Dazzler is Brady Tkachuk.
Good player.
Jakob Silverberg, who I think is now
just retired. Yep.
Dante Fabro. Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah,
he's a good player, man. I like him.
Does he stay in Calgary?
Who knows? We'll see if there's some offer sheets. No, I don't think he's up on this deal.
Well,
Pavel Francouz as a goalie. All you got is throw one of those guys.
Bad memories for Oilers fans. Of Francouz. All right, who do you got, Trev?
Got former Oiler, Nick Bukestad.
Oh.
Not bad. Solid player.
Member of the Utah Hockey Club.
Yep.
Hard to say.
Also former Oiler. In this card, he's repping the St. Louis Blues jersey. David Perron.
I always enjoyed David.
Yeah.
He did not want to get traded.
Swiss Army knife, eh? Like, I feel like he can do everything.
Yeah.
Wherever he seemed to go, he's just fit in.
Yeah.
For every team. Not a lot of times you see that. And he's like, sometimes he's performed better. Like, it's like he has a great year with his new team, and then he goes to another new team, and he puts up even better numbers. Like,
good player for a long time.
Yeah,
he's
just
gotten
an absolute
better.
Stud. Yeah, he has. Like,
He's
a very
gotten
under
better.
the radar,
Yeah.
really good player.
Yeah.
His first year was 07-08.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, and no one really. Yeah, it's one of the best kept secrets. Braden Holtby, got Andre Vasilevsky, Connor Mackey, Nino Niederreiter, Brad Richardson, and Connor Sherry. Not bad.
Okay. Alex DeBrincat, Blackhawk. No longer the case. Nico Dawes. Okay. Morgan Riley, the best pick of the 2020 or 2012 first round, or first 10 picks, I think. Cam Fowler, still in Anaheim. A upper deck canvas. Jonathan Dolan with the San Jose Sharks. And I'll get you $1 or $2. Puce Suter with the Red Wings.
I'm gonna offer sheet that one.
Yeah. Eric Johnson, former first overall pick, and then Alex Killorn. So this pack was kind of a dud.
I like Killorn.
Killorn's a good player. He's been a good player for a while, too. There you go.
Nice.
Pack brought to you by Wayne's.
Go Wayne Sports Cards and Collectibles. I was there yesterday. First time being in the building.
Yeah, how
it's
was
just
it?
Awesome. I love it. Like, that's everything I want for a store. If I was ever a store owner, like, it's just, I was looking at all the Legos and I was like, oh, like,
Legos?
I wish I could go, like, I wish there was something like this back home. Very cool cards from like toys. People of all ages can go in there. So definitely go check them out. Really good people as well. I had a grand old time, and I'll definitely be taking my brother there because it's right up our alley. So
yeah.
I've never been in. I got to go.
I love like comic stores, card stores. Obviously, usually there's one in the same, where there's like a sports card store beside a comic store. When Wayne was on the other day, and I was watching the clips, and they had all the boxes of cards in the background, and I was just like, there's got to be some crazy cards stashed in those boxes and just packs to be
yeah.
open. There's something about like opening up a pack of cards and you're like, what's going to be in here?
What happened with that guy that bought that series, the O-Peaches, with the possible Gretzky rookie cards? Did he sell those? I heard.
I can't remember. There's cases of them.
Yeah,
that were
he's
found
like a
somewhere.
pallet of them, and he bought them for a good penny.
Because if you find a 99, like I don't know if it's a 10, or like a 9
I think it's
point
a 10.
something,
then you're good.
You're
right?
talking hundreds of thousands. What if there's multiples? In there?
Yeah, but then it comes to, like, even though there could be 20 of them in there, but they're not 10s. They're like 5s because the cut of the card,
right?
There's all like I did that dive a while ago when Dusty was talking about it, and there's specific criteria of each card, how it has to look.
Yeah.
If it's bent, so there's a risk in buying. Like with anything, there is a risk, but the reward could be quite substantial.
Could you imagine being a kid in 1979-80, buying a pack of cards, be like, I got Gretzky rookie card doubles. This one's going in my bike spokes.
I did.
Man,
I had everyone had them, and but we hated Wayne Gretzky because he crushed the Canucks.
Oh,
yeah,
he almost became a Canuck.
Really?
Yeah, I think before he signed with New York, that was a thing. That was a thing. All right, Tim Hauraney on the way shortly. This is the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola and Joaquin Gage in for Dusty and Lieutenant Eric. YTT, YouTube Trev holding things down. Keep those texts coming in. Paris Jewelers Inbox, 780-218-9999. We will have the text of the day. That comes with the GC to A&W. Joaquin will have the Kinda Easy Trivia just after 8. We do have... Beer of the week. That's going to be my breakfast. Uh-oh. And one last thing I want to get to as we wrap up the 6 o'clock hour. I want to say one thing. I can't wait to hear the changing 100, changing 200. So please, let's hit that today. I just love that soundbite, and we're doing it together. And then the last thing is Library Pat gets the last word in the 6 o'clock hour. Says, a conch for you guys. Thanks for holding down the fort. And thanks to YTT for keeping everything on the rails. Well job from Library Pat. Hit it.
It's official, Larry Thompson is the newest owner in the CFL. This is the first time in the franchise's 75-year history that it will not be community-owned. The 2-7 Elks will face the 2-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats in their first game of this road trip. Kickoff for that one starts tomorrow at 5. The Ottawa Redblacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders last night in a thriller by the score of 31-29 thanks to Lewis Ward's 51-yard kick with no time on the clock. Tonight in the CFL, just one game, which sees the best in the West, the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the number 1 seed in the whole CFL, the Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes' Cody Fajardo is listed as backup QB for tonight's game and will dress for the first time in a month. In the majors, the Blue Jays hit off their 3-game series tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. The Jays have won their previous 4 games heading into their afternoon ball game, which starts at 12:20. And for the first time since she made her debut at the Olympic stage, Reagan has had enough, stating, "I didn't realize that would open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. It's a cruel world out there, Reagan." The Sports Update, brought to you by Greenplan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Greenplan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind? 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all at the back. Like Brzezinski and Noodles, Gadget can gauge it. If it's just but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? He left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about Amanda Games? Macramel, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All the fucking given person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:03 in Edmonton. It is the Nielson Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. For the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask and tell them EST sent you. You get 15% off accessories on your new ride. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. Joaquin Gage in for Lieutenant Eric. YTT holding things down, bringing you the sports updates. We've got Tim Hauraney, who will be joining us from TSN to talk a little F1 and racing. IndyCar still going. F1 in summer break. You can text us, Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Of course, shop in store or online at parisjewelers.com. And we are inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Popeyes now has boneless wings, a continuation of their bone-in wings platform, which will allow customers the choice between the ghost pepper bone-in wings or the all-white eat boneless wings with a milder flavor. With the success of the current wings platform, they're continuing to lean on their existing sauce offerings, including signature hot, honey garlic, my favorite, honey barbecue, and garlic parmesan, as well as classic. And then I'm going to go into the inbox because Neil was like, who are you talking about, Tom? When I was talking about, I think I said Mike Robertson for the host of Amazing Race Canada. I went to high school with Mike Robertson. He won a silver medal at the Olympics. I think in Vancouver, I think it was snowboard cross.
Okay.
And I confused that with John Montgomery.
That's
Thank you, Neil.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate that. John Montgomery, charisma, gold medal, Canadian Olympian. He went into skeleton because he's like, I want to be at the Olympics in Vancouver/Whistler. How do I do it? And he took up skeleton and won.
Yeah, that's what you
Good
do,
for
Ray
him.
Gun.
Yeah, take a note, Ray Gun.
Get into skeleton.
I want the best for Ray Gun, also an Olympian. But it sounds like she's very combative.
Well,
And maybe that has something to do with how she became a member of the Australian Olympic team.
well, look, if she starts treating these people like a battle, the way she dances, it's not going to go well for her.
Uh-oh. Oh, that is so funny. All right, Tim Hauraney will be joining us shortly. Of course, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999 and the nasty chat. Let's get those thumbs up going. I want to hear Wallace Shawn from Vegas Vacation going, changing 100. I love that clip, and we're almost there. So good morning, and keep those coming in. All right, from TSN and covering the world of motorsports, it is one of my favorites, Tim Hauraney. And Tim, good morning, man. How you doing? What's new? It's summer break in F1, but you're all over the Indy. What's going on, dude? How you been?
Oh man, I've been good. Just kind of taking it easy, you know. Had a couple weeks off here. Went to a friend's wedding. Went to a couple concerts. I've been riding my bike a lot, swimming outdoors a lot, running outdoors a lot. You know, it's the summer of Tim. I'm feeling good.
I love it.
How was Connor McDavid's wedding?
Yeah. Did you buy him the boat as a wedding gift?
I would love to know.
Yeah.
What? Did you get married? Seriously though? Oh, seriously.
Yeah, he got
seriously.
married. Yeah.
Oh, did he
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
out in Muskoka. So I thought, you mentioned it. I thought that was what you were talking about.
Obviously, they sold the wedding photos to Vogue. Didn't you know?
Really? No, are
Yes.
you guys serious with me? Right
Yeah.
now?
No joke.
Way.
Yeah.
I've had girls come up to me and be like, "Did you know much about the wedding? Did you see all the outfit changes?" I was like, "No. What are you talking about? Didn't you see the spread? No, I don't have a clue."
Dude, that was your perfect opportunity to say yes.
I can't lie like that, Tim, because I would be called out so quickly, and I would be SOL. But so that all happened, and evidently none of us were there. But I'm sure it was a great time. So you also, I was going through your Twitter feed, and lots of indie stuff, like I mentioned. Nailing the Apex is your podcast, but you were dialed into the Olympics, and obviously we all wear our Maple Leaf on our hearts, especially for the Olympics. What'd you think, and what stood out to you? Because we were joking about ray gun for the last 15 minutes.
I mean, look, I love the Olympics. I love Summer Olympics. It's probably my favorite. So I used to compete a lot in triathlon. To stay in shape for motorsports. And so I know the amount of training that goes into that, because I almost was able to get my professional triathlete license. Wow. I think I was about 10 or 15 minutes just off of qualifying for it. I used a half Ironman to try and get my pro card for triathlon. Because I had so much fitness built up from racing. So I just basically just tried to do something silly one day, went to Michigan and competed in a half Ironman and whatever. But I know how much training kind of goes into that. So I respect the amount of training that, a lot of these Olympians have to go through just on a daily basis. And so it's always, I love always watching someone at the peak of their fitness or the peak of their athleticism competing against the best in the world. It's just, to me, it's I love watching that. I think it's incredible. I mean, we saw some amazing things. I mean, that men's 400 meter race was incredible. I was blown away by that. I watched it twice, actually. I watched that race twice, once by myself and the other time with my girlfriend, just to be you got to see how crazy this story is, it's incredible. And watched all the stuff in the pool, watched all the triathlon stuff, I watched the marathon swim. I don't know, did you guys see any of that?
Well, I saw the marathon on the last day, and then I was going to say to you, could you imagine training for the Olympic triathlon only to have it disrupted and ended by a swim in the River Seine that has thousands of years worth of refuse pumped into it, and you get contract E. coli? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, it's wild, right? But I mean, it was fun to watch that because you could kind of see different strategies because of the current, how strong the current was, where were the swimmers using that current, where were they using it to try and break away from their competitors, and so just a psychological battle that was going on with that. And so I was all over the Olympics. I loved every minute of it. I'm so happy that F1 was on summer break at that time because I got to sit down and take it all in. And man, wouldn't it be fun to work in Olympics one day, to report on it or whatever? It would be awesome.
Well, we saw a few guys just being able to go to multiple events and take it all in every single day. I would love to go to every event possible at the Olympics. Start with something that I've never seen before. When, like you said, Tim, when you get to that level, that training level of 4 years of preparation, and to see everyone peaking at that moment, that's something to behold. I hope that one day I can get to a Summer Olympics and take it all in, because there's always magical things that happen. I mean, I had goosebumps just with Celine Dion. I knew it was going to be good right then. Right. It was fantastic. What a fantastic fortnight of sports.
What about Noah Lyles?
That opens.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I was just going to say, Noah Lyles throwing shade at the 4x100 meter men's relay team, and then all those months later, and then Donovan Bailey's chirping him after. There's a guy that was supposed to be the king of the track in Paris, and he ends up looking like a donkey. And I guess, karma's you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Canada just coming out of nowhere and just grabbing that gold. I don't even think like they were the favorites going into that 4x100 at all. I mean,
right.
I think even without Noah Lyles, that American team was still the favorite at that point. And just like brutal exchanges, right? Like just with the baton, just terrible exchanges again, which is weird. Like you would think they would have gotten that under control by now. I mean, it's been a long time, you know? Like, but outside of all that, I mean, I think like that, like the men's and the women's 100 as well was awesome. Like I enjoyed as much, like as close as the men's 100 meter was. I really enjoyed the women's one just because of the story aspects between, like, it was almost like there was a rivalry between like 3 or 4 women that were there on the start line. And it was just an incredible finish. There's just so many stories, right? This is good. This is awesome.
It's the beauty of the Olympics. It really does capture us for a couple of weeks. It is neat seeing the world come together. And Tim, I'm 100% with you. I would just like to cover it. I would do biathlon in the freezing cold in a Winter Olympics just to be there to say I did it. So I totally understand that sentiment. Also, this summer break gave you time to watch the Olympics, and we obviously enjoyed them. But F1, it still finds a way to creep its way into the headlines. And what are some of the things you're keeping tabs on as we get set for the summer break to come to a close eventually here?
Yeah, I think it's just basically seeing the last 10 races of this season, and if McLaren can, take over first place in the constructor standings. I mean, Zach Brown believes that they can, but Zach Brown also believes that Lando Norris could probably win the Drivers' Championship here this year.
It's on his vision board, okay?
Yeah, like I'm not sure about that one. I mean, I think Lando's about 78 points back last time I checked. But it is realistic. He could do it. So yeah, there's no question about that. It's mathematically possible for sure. I'm just excited to see how close these teams can really get to each other. I mean, at the moment, there is literally nothing separating from the top 3, top 4. I mean, even if Ferrari starts to really start to come together towards the back half of the season, which I think they probably will. I mean, we're probably going to see 3-4 teams fighting for wins, from this point on, which is going to be extremely exciting. It's going to set us up really well for 2025. I mean, I think also there's so many other storylines. Like, where is Valtteri Bottas going to sign? I mean, most likely that looks like it could possibly be Sauber. And then outside of that, does Jack Doohan get that Alpine seat? I mean, I think he does. And then what happens with Adrian Newey? Where does he go? I mean, there's a lot of stuff floating around online that he's signed this big deal with Aston Martin. He hasn't signed anything at this moment. And there's not much that Adrian Newey can do until September rolls around. So I think those would be some of the storylines I'm really looking forward to see what happens. And then, yeah, guys, just the racing from there on out. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting finish.
Tim, Carlos Sainz, I mean, if you were to tell me at the beginning of it all with Lewis Hamilton getting that seat and not knowing where I wouldn't have picked Williams as a destination spot for him. Can you maybe enlighten us as to the decision why it took so long and what enticed him to pick Williams as his partner going forward?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I mean, I spoke with James Vowles actually just before summer break had officially started. Carlos they had made the announcement, and then the next day we jumped on a media conference with James, and it was interesting to understand that Vowles had been going after Carlos since 2023. Abu Dhabi. So the very last race of the 2023 Formula One season. And a lot of people just no one had any idea that, James had been trying to get Carlos for that long because he knew his contract was going to be up at the end of 2024. And he really liked him and he wanted him on his team because he thought that Carlos was going to be one of the drivers that was going to help take Williams to another level. And I don't necessarily disagree with him. I think, Carlos can be that piece that Williams does need to really bridge the gap in terms of getting themselves out of the midfield and putting them at the top of that midfield, and maybe even closing in on the likes of Aston Martin and whoever is going to be sitting in that fourth spot next season. I think Carlos is one of those drivers who can help push them to get to that level. There's no question about it. I think for Carlos, one of the things for him was, what was it going to look like on the track? Not necessarily for 2025, but for 2026. I mean, if you look at Audi Sauber, so Audi's going to be coming into Formula One to take over Sauber for 2026. And they really wanted Carlos on their team, like desperately wanted him. The problem was that there was so much going on behind the scenes at Sauber and trying to transition that team into Audi, make it seamless, but also having a competitive car out on the racetrack, and those things just weren't happening. We saw the changeover in team personnel. In comes, Mattia Binotto to overtake everything, to oversee everything, and gone is Andreas Seidel. So, that's a huge change at that team. That's going to take a while for them to feel that change. And Carlos seeing that, I think that really brought him away from them. I think that allowed him to understand, like, look, this team's going to take a while to get up to speed. And I don't necessarily want to be at the back, competing at the back, especially in 2026 when it's a whole new regulation change and you don't know what teams are going to do. I want to play more of a safe bet. So what would that safe bet look like? It would have to be Williams, simply because of the relationship that they have with Mercedes. They're going to be getting Mercedes power units, Mercedes components for 2026. And guys, last time I checked, when there was a power unit regulation change, the team that absolutely hit a home run was Mercedes. So that's what's going to be happening in 2026. And for Carlos, just seeing that, I think that was enough for them to get this contract over the line.
So with the whole changes, and now the recent, Mercedes winning a few races, the change of Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, is there any hesitation, and hindsight being 2020, was this a good decision for Lewis to make this change, or now he's getting this extra boost a little bit? I've been thinking, gosh, does Lewis regret his decision? I guess I'm asking, moving to Ferrari for next year with the recent success of Mercedes.
I don't think he's regretting it. I think he's probably a little bit surprised at how much Mercedes has been able to bridge the gap and really get things under control for their team. And you know what? He's not the only one that's surprised by that. I think 90% of us in the paddock were surprised by that. I remember being in Bahrain, and I was there for testing, and I was there for the first race of the season this year. And I just remember just how down and out that entire team was at Mercedes before the season had even begun, just because of how poorly their testing went and just how frustrated they were with their car concept. And the 2 years prior that they had spent with a former concept that didn't go anywhere. And now all of a sudden they've got a new concept and it's still not going anywhere. And so at that moment, everybody's been like, yes, Lewis has hit a home run. This is the right idea. Ferrari is the team that's going to try and take down Red Bull this season. And at one point they were. But Mercedes has just, in Canada, I think, guys, Canadian Grand Prix is where it all started. They introduced, George Russell had a new front wing in Monaco. And I remember talking to Andre Stella about this in Canada, and he said Mercedes' race pace in Monaco was shockingly good. And they were worried about what they were going to be able to do moving forward because they could see it on the data. And sure enough, they show up and George Russell gets pole in Canada. And so not only does that front wing help, but the suspension change and whatever else mechanically they're doing underneath the car, they've just been able to figure out the right amount of ride height to put into the car so they get the proper balance so the drivers can actually extract the performance and have the confidence in the car to go and push. Because guys, at one point, I mean, the drivers didn't really have that confidence, right? It was taking away their confidence, so they couldn't push the car. They couldn't take it to the limit. It was fast in the slow corners, but it was slow in the fast or medium to fast speed corners. So it just wasn't working. And now they've got this platform that they've been able to figure out that's just quick all around. And so moving forward, you have to not only take a look at this season, but if you look into next season, and if they're able to continue on this trajectory for the rest of the season, I mean, guys, look out. They're going to be fighting for a championship.
TSN racing analyst Tim Hauraney joining us. You wanted to jump on something? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tim, I mean, it's exciting to me to see the gap closed between, those other teams and Red Bull. I think, is this a season where it'll come down to the wire for the Constructors' Championship? And with all the, you see a lot of people leaving Red Bull, and the gap closing. Is Max just too far ahead, do you think, to be challenged by the end of the year with the races that are coming up? Or could we see something that maybe the actual battle for the Drivers' Championship could come down to the last few races of the season?
Yeah, I mean, the Constructors, I think, for sure, is going to come down to the wire. That's definitely going to come down to the last few races of the season. I don't doubt that whatsoever. I mean, it's already extremely close between Red Bull and McLaren, and then you're going to probably sprinkle in, Mercedes is probably going to make a really late push here, and they're going to get involved as well. When it comes to the Drivers' Championship, I mean, that's a good question. Like, I think if Red Bull continues to struggle and McLaren continues to thrive, and they're able to figure out their team orders on track, right, and they're able to figure, McLaren's able to figure that part of it out, because right now they haven't been able to figure out the team side during the racing. If they can figure that out, I mean, I think that they could have a chance here of fighting Max for a world championship down the stretch. But there's a number of things that has to go their way, right? Like, there has to be, like, Verstappen DNFs, and there has to be Lando Norris wins, which is not impossible, right? That can happen, but the likelihood of it is slim. There's a slim margin, but there is a chance for them to really dig into this Drivers' Championship, potentially take the fight to Max for sure. I just find this Constructors' Championship just so interesting, guys, because last year Red Bull absolutely thrashed everybody.
Yes.
It wasn't even close. And this year we started the season, and a lot of us thought this thing's not even going to be close again this season. And I thought, okay, well, let's give it 7 or 8 races, and then we'll have an understanding of what everybody's got, because that's what it's going to take. And sure enough, we were able to see some light in that tunnel thanks to McLaren in Miami. And that kind of blew things wide open. And we are now in a point where I've never seen Formula One this close ever. And I mean, guys, I've been part of the sport since, I was a teenager, and then I've been watching it since I was 9 years old. And I've never seen Formula One this close before. So, I mean, awesome. It's going to be an exciting finish.
Yeah. I don't mind parity. And as like a sub storyline, watching Checo struggle, and he signs this new deal, and all of a sudden it's like, he might be toast because of how poorly he's performing. This is crazy to think that the Kings in Red Bull might be dethroned here. So I'm all for it, Tim.
Yeah, and that's another part of it too, right, Tom? I mean, it's the fact that we all thought that Checo was probably going to be replaced by Daniel Ricciardo during the summer break,
right?
And then all of a sudden they come back and Checo is now staying for the rest of the season. And for Red Bull, I think it all comes down to numbers. How long was it going to take Daniel Ricciardo to get up to speed, or Liam Lawson, to get up to speed and be competitive and be able to compete against Max? And then you have to weigh that with how long is it going to take for us to get Checo his confidence back so he can get closer to Max.
Right.
And I think they sort of weighed that out, and it was kind of like, okay, look, it's going to take too long for Daniel to get up to speed, or Liam Lawson, whoever they were going to put in there, compared to if we just keep working with Checo, we can probably get him back to where he was at the beginning of the season. Problem is, the car has gone away from Checo, and he hasn't been able to figure out how to get the car back underneath him to get that confidence back so he can close that gap to Max. And essentially on the other part of that, you're basically, if you're Red Bull, you're hanging your Constructors' Championship around Sergio Perez. Like, you're basing it off of whatever he does, because the more he struggles, the more points McLaren and Mercedes and Ferrari take away from Red Bull.
Exactly.
And the constructors. And that's just the way it's going to play out.
One last one for you, Tim. I was always wondering about the McLaren swap, and with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, what was in your mind, why was that? Why was the swap needed for Piastri to finish first? Was it just a strategy going down the road for the constructors? Because I mean, we're talking about the end of the year meaning something. Wouldn't it be something that if they would have let Lando win that race, he could have won the championship?
Really quickly, I want to say, watching that and Lando being stubborn, I thought was brilliant too.
Oh, great!
I think everybody watching that whole.
What's he gonna do?
Look, I mean, I think there's a number of different things with that. I mean, first of all, if the drivers have an agreement with the team before the race starts, saying like, okay, well, if Oscar, you get a better start than Lando and you get out in front, then the race lead is yours, right? And I think on top of that, mixed with McLaren throwing in some bad strategy calls, I mean, you have to prioritize Oscar Piastri. If he's leading the race, he is your priority now, not Lando. But they were afraid of Mercedes undercutting them. So they had to make a decision, bring Lando in, and they probably should have brought Oscar Piastri in a lap later, and they didn't. And that really hurt them, because that allowed Lando to open up more of a gap. And then Oscar had to try and chase him down, and you run into tire wear at that point. And then every driver starts to struggle. Then Lando starts to struggle. Then you got Max closing in, and then you got Lewis also coming up strong too. So they had all of this in play and in flux. And I think at the same time, they didn't want to upset team chemistry. The thing with McLaren is the fact that they believe so strongly in team first, which is fine. But if you're a driver, you're always thinking me first.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, because it's like you're only as good as your last race, and that's the way racing works, unfortunately. So I can see why Lando's really struggled to try and give the victory back to Oscar. I mean, any driver would have a hard time making that call and giving that place back. But when you heard the radio calls from Lando's chief engineer, the fact that he's saying, look, I'm doing everything to protect you here, that speaks volumes to the fact that if you go ahead and you break the rules that you agreed to, then moving forward, the team is probably not really going to be on your side for much else.
Good point.
Because you agreed to this deal, and then also on top of all of that, we have a team atmosphere that we want to keep healthy. And that's the best way of doing it. So for Lando to give that up, he did do the right thing, even though how hard it is to do that. But you also have to remember that he is going to need Oscar Piastri at some point, either this season or next season. And vice versa. Lando's going to need Oscar as well, because if either one of those drivers want to win next year's championship, they're going to need each other. And if they're not playing nice right now, that breaks the trust moving forward.
Right.
And once you've broken that trust between two drivers, you're finished. Drivers don't normally give second chances.
Wow. It's cutthroat, man. I love the
time.
drama, love the suspense. The summer break comes to a close next weekend. Netherlands is the next race. Tim, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Tim Hauraney, TSN racing analyst. Check out his podcast, Nailing the Apex, and he is the president of the Ray Gun fan club because he's such an Olympics
no way,
guy.
I never said that. I didn't say that.
I said it. Thanks, Tim. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thanks,
Tim
guys. See
Hauraney,
you later.
fantastic. The best. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Check him out.
I like the peek behind the curtain with the thing that fascinated me the most about the whole getting into F1 was the relationship between the two
Yes.
drivers. Because that's when I played, that was kind of the closest
starter and backup.
Yeah. That's the goaltender relationship. I think there's parallels to F1 teams. Obviously,
I get it.
It's that's good stuff, man. That's
Tim,
really good stuff.
Tim,
for him,
with a great update.
Oh, for him to say this is the most exciting season.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got hooked in watching 4 seasons of Drive to Survive
and that
in one
finish
night.
A couple of years
and the
ago
finish
was
with
crazy.
Max, and like it was epic. But now to see what's happening with all these teams, that's exciting. It's really exciting. I know F1's not in everyone's bag, but I guarantee if you do go to Netflix and start watching Drive to Survive, you will become an absolute maniac like myself.
And Tim sums it up nicely, and you've become, I said, you guys can nerd out. I love F1. I watch it. And I love that we talked about the Lando Oscar thing because that was fascinating. I was sitting there watching, like, no way. Lando better not be that stubborn that he's not going to give it up. And sure enough, he did, but he fought it as long as he could.
Yeah. Well, like Tim said, that's that trust. Once it's broken, it doesn't seem to ever get mended.
Man, well said, Tim Hauraney. Great guest to have on. Glad he hopped on this Friday edition of the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. And time now for a sports update with YouTube Trev, and then we're going to get to Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media to talk about the change in ownership with the Elks. Text us 780-218-9999. It is the Paris Jewelers inbox. You guys you got everything sorted out? You guys are good?
Changing 100.
Yeah! All right. Keep those thumbs up coming as we cruise along into the weekend. Time now for a sports update with YouTube Trev.
It's official. Larry Thompson is the newest owner in the CFL. This is the first time in the franchise's 75-year history that it will not be community-owned. The 2-7 Elks face the 2-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats in their first game of this road trip. Kickoff for that one starts tomorrow at 5. The Ottawa Red Blacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders last night in a thriller by the score of 31-29 thanks to Lewis Ward's 51-yard kick with no time on the clock. Tonight in the CFL, just one game, which sees the best in the West, the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking the number 1 seed in the whole CFL, the Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes' Cody Fajardo is listed as backup QB for tonight's game and will dress for the first time in a month. In the majors, the Blue Jays hit off their 3-game series tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. The Jays have won their previous 4 games heading into their afternoon ball game, which starts at 12:20. And yesterday, news broke that a 68-year-old cafeteria consultant from Illinois stole $1.5 million in chicken wings to fuel a gambling habit. But Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones has offered to pay for the stolen chicken wings if it will keep her out of prison. Fascinating story right there. This sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. Mitch Lewicki spends his lunch break showing off all of his dance moves, and I can confirm he has challenged Olympian Ray Gunn to a dance-off.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a figure skater. He wears like a white outfit and he does interpretive ice dances to my life's journey.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats. Like Brzezinski and Noodles, Gadget and Gage. If it's just Bubba to Kuban to make a little wager. We can't wait with a Monday mandate. Sharky's always on time, Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about Amanda Canes? Macramella, Rapapo, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All the fun of giving person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Woo! 7:37 in Edmonton. This is the Nielson Show. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. Calling the CFL on TSN this weekend as per usual. And then Joaquin Gage in for Lieutenant Eric YTT, whose updates, as Tyler and Terwilliger says, the level up between the 6:30 and 7:30 sports updates cannot go unnoticed. Bravo, YTT. As he's getting Gerry Moddejonge on the phone. And we're going to talk about the Elks changing hands when it comes to ownership. And Red texted in 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox says, I love, all caps, love when you guys get Tim on. He really goes in depth, has good info, can be hard to get accurate info online. Lots of tabloids around F1. Thanks from Red. And Tim's fantastic. He is like, I think he's the go-to racing guy in our country.
Canada,
yeah.
You would say that.
And he goes to the races. He does Indy as well.
He knows these people.
He
right?
was a race car driver.
Yeah.
You guys,
if you ever listen to his podcast, Nailing the Apex, after a race, like he goes into every little detail. And the one thing I wanted to ask him, like, I'll ask you, isn't it nice now watching a race? And I mean, I still enjoyed it. But it's the focal point isn't the middle of the pack because that's where all the racing is actually happening. It's
right.
now
it's at the front.
Like Max didn't just take off and we saw him at the end.
I liked Max a lot in my infancy of appreciating F1. And I recognize they're all crybabies. Max is probably the king crybaby, but he's a brilliant race car driver. Historic things that he's done, obviously. I don't mind when I've actually started to like guys like Lando more. I think Carlos Sainz has become my favorite driver. Mm-hmm. It's hard to like just one.
I know.
But I don't mind watching Red Bull and Max struggle because it's created this parity, I think is the right word, and it's created this tighter group at the front, and I like seeing McLaren. And I know Zach Brown's kind of a goofy guy, but I think his heart's in the right place. So, like, I'm enjoying these storylines, and I'm enjoying how it's going down to the wire. I like this renaissance that Mercedes is kind of having, even though it's only been a couple of years since they were super competitive and at the top fighting with Red Bull. It has created so many crazy storylines. Checo being unreliable has been insane, and talking about Daniel Ricciardo. Like, what happened to Yuki Tsunoda? Nobody talks about Yuki.
And he's doing great.
I know.
He's doing great. But F1, it's kind of funny because it's that line. I had to look this up, the line from Batman. If you either die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain.
Oh,
and that's
you just made
that's
Trev's day.
Oh, really?
Right there.
No way. Yeah, that's Max, right?
Yeah, totally. What say you? 780-218-9999, the Paris Jewelers inbox. And then, of course, it is the Nielsen Show. Presented by South Fort Chevrolet. For the best deal at the best price, go see Daniel and his team in Fort Sask. Tell them EST sent you. You'll get 15% off accessories on your new ride. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com. And we need to turn the attention back to football in our city. And no better guy to talk about what just happened with the Elks franchise, ownership changing over to the Thompson family, Larry Thompson heading that up with Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media, who's been on the Elks beat for a long, long time. And Gerry joins us now via the phone line. And I talked about this earlier in the show, G, that you wrote the article a couple of summers ago, or maybe it was leaning towards the fall, about how this franchise needed a change in ownership, and it might be time to go to a single owner. Well, that day has come. You were down at Commonwealth Stadium on field level. What did you make of what we witnessed yesterday?
Man, you were down there too, Tommy. Everybody was down there.
Yes.
That was wild. I haven't seen anything like that since last time that old barn held a Grey Cup. There was it was so nice to see the Double E become relevant again, and you know what, just turning the page on something brand new. And man, Tom, talk about a absolute lifeline being tossed to that club.
Good point.
Things were not going well, and still aren't, no doubt. I mean, this is no magic bullet that's going to fix everything immediately here. But boy, just to see stability in their financial future for years to come, instead of the clock counting down on this emergency fund that was so nice and topped up 5 years ago before COVID hit. Boy, it just since then, since their last playoff appearance in 2019, Tom, it's been a absolute perfect storm of all things that could possibly go wrong. Absolutely have. Every decision that seemed to be made at the top of the club turned out to be a bad one that seemed to compound on themselves, and could not get anything right, could not do anything right, and somehow the product on the field followed suit, and just they couldn't win.
No.
No matter what they did, and you know what, everything they tried to do to fix it seemed to only come down to eventually taking off the rest of their audience, their fan base that used to be so staunch and loud and showing up in support of this club over the years, over the decades. Boy, just dwindling to frightening numbers. And obviously, the biggest concern you have is when you see the attendance numbers dip, and it's so obvious you can't hide it.
Yep.
You're roping off the entire upper bowl, and boy, it got to a point where it's like, yeah, I understand they're for sale. The crystal ball I might have had one day a couple of years ago seemed to turn out to be true. Yeah, the 9-member board of directors model was no longer functioning, was no longer working, was no longer leading to any form of success, and something had to change. But it was like, who would even want to buy this team now? Obviously, there was a lot of interest from the things we've heard just through various unofficial reports and things. But how many of those 20 or a couple dozen quote unquote points of interest were just tire kickers, just looking to either make a name for themselves or just see if this was even possible. But boy, to have this construction magnate locally, Larry Thompson says he was a long time, almost a lifelong Double E fan, and just comes through with the deepest pockets they could possibly ask for after selling his what was it, the Thompson Brothers Construction out in Spruce Grove. It's just finally the perfect storm leads to some bright spot poking through the clouds.
Finally, yeah. Gerry Moddejonge joining us now from Post Media. Go ahead, Gager.
Gerry, let's just selfishly, let's grab that crystal ball and head down to Vegas. But we talk about in sports, especially when there's a change in management or even the coach, you get that so-called coach's bump. This, like you eloquently laid it out there, just have that financial stability within a franchise that's had the lifeline sent out to them. Do you see can you get an owner's bump with this? Is this going to give everyone that fresh start? This is basically sounds like a baby's wipe to me right now, and everyone's clean going forward.
Yeah, well, everything's changing now, and the big question is what kind of owner is he going to be? How hands-on is Larry Thompson going to be with this franchise? Obviously, it's in need of new everything, not just the owner. They cleaned house. Rick Lawlisher, interim president and CEO, needs to be replaced. And this is by design. This is not me saying he's doing a bad job or anything. He oversaw this whole sale process, and boy, that turned out pretty good. But in no means is Rick there thinking he's going to be the future, holding hand in hand with the new owner. Although that there may be a transitionary process where he's involved, but he needs a replacement. This club needs a head coach. They've already fired Chris Jones, which couldn't come soon enough in the minds of a lot of fans. Just stumbling out of the gates year after year is not the way to try and rebuild things. Is G. Roy Simon going to be the long-term GM of this club? There's so many questions at the top. This is also a club, and as much as everyone loves Trey Ford, and as impressive as McLeod Bethel Thompson's numbers may have been earlier on before the switch, they need to discover, they need to develop, they need to find a franchise quarterback. That's just the way football works. And there's not, as we've seen over the years, and not just at this club, there's not a lot out there. There's a lot of big draws for that sort of talent down south in the springtime, and there is a lot on the plate of this new owner for sure.
Yeah. Gerry, one of the things, and we got to it in the press conference yesterday, was the future home of the Edmonton Elks and the Double E. And you know what? It's almost silly to be like, what do you mean future home? There's Commonwealth Stadium, and you've got Pink and Metallica showing up. They were literally taking off the goalposts yesterday after the press conference to get ready for the concert. But it is a tired stadium. The city has done a good job of maintaining it. It's creeping up on 50 years of existence and use, super functional. But gee, like Larry Thompson said, that's something that's already been discussed with the city. We have to find out what we can do with this building. Maybe we look at a new building altogether. Maybe how the dynamic works between the lease, between Thompson ownership group and the city looks like, because you look at Rogers Place. That's a city-owned arena and facility, but it's leased to the Oilers, and they have a sweetheart deal. And does that dynamic change? Like, what could you foresee for the future of Commonwealth or where the Elks end up playing?
Yeah, first off, great question at the end of that conference, Tommy.
Thanks, brother.
It definitely hit one of the biggest nails right on the head that has been plaguing this club for a long time. Commonwealth, it's not that it's just too old. She's had a facelift. That place has seen more probably than its fair share over the decades. Just big event after big event, championships in football, and when I first started the CFL beat back in 2009, I believe Saskatchewan came to town in the fall that year for a regular season game. That was and this is before the seats were changed, so we're still talking 60,000 plus. And to be able to see that place packed, and the hairs on my arms start to raise even now, remembering what that was like.
I remember that game.
Yeah, amazing, and so loud, and that's what it was built for, and that's what sports used to be across the continent, and it's just not that anymore. That place is 2 times as big as it needs. Obviously, there have been Grey Cups and things like that that have filled it since, but we're talking regular season, and it's to hear a new owner say, you know what, maybe, who knows, 10 years down the road, do we see something new? That's just incredible. Not even on the radar of anyone at this point. And sure, it could be pie in the sky, like how deep are this guy's pockets? But yeah, it would take a considerable concerted effort by the city, and need a groundswell of support from the community as well. This is not something they just bulldoze through, because let's face it, the Elks are not the Oilers when it comes to support in this town. At this point, or maybe at any point again, who knows? But boy, it's going to be a whole bunch of baby steps to get back to respectability in my mind. Let alone, find that groundswell of support for a big project like that. But yeah, let's face it, Commonwealth isn't too old. It is just too big. They need something 30,000, 35,000 seats at most, I would say. The problem is that before they roped off the top, of course, because what is the lower bowl? 31,000?
31, they said, yeah.
Okay. The problem is when you're not anybody who finds their way into an Oilers game will let people know at work, that sort of thing. Let friends, hey, I'm going to see the hockey game. The Elks are not that big ticket. Anybody can stroll up at any point in the season, and even now without the upper bowl, basically sit anywhere they want.
Yes.
And it's just too easy. The last president, Victor Cooey, who, boy, when I initially wrote the piece that said, a for sale sign is the only thing that's going to fix this club's fortunes, everybody said, Victor Cooey was the man to change things. They don't need a new owner. I wish I could say I wasn't so right, because was. The guy's idea of fixing things and getting bums in seats, as they say, was to give away tickets. And at that point, how do you turn around and say, okay, we're good now. Please start paying for these. And it's like, no, I don't think so. You guys have devalued your product so much to the point where literally you could no longer give it away. So, man, big long road ahead of Larry Thompson. I hope he surrounds himself with the right people. He needs basically a Knights of the Round Table sort of setup to support everything. Because let's face it, this guy is a lifelong fan of not just the Double E, but the entire CFL.
Yep.
That doesn't mean he knows how to do every little thing that needs to be done, and I'm sure he knows that. But it will be interesting over the next little while here to, hopefully get to know him a little better. And it seems a lot of the feedback from yesterday was, this guy's not much of a public speaker. No, he probably never had much of a chance.
Right.
I mean, sure, in the construction might have known everything there is to know. But boy, this is quite a different stage, and let's give him some time and see what he comes up with.
Gerry, I would say no nonsense when he speaks. It's short and to the point, but he sounded like a guy that's been in construction for a long time, right? Get it done.
Right.
In the theme of getting it done, there's a lot of things, and obviously the top thing is producing, and he alluded to it multiple times, is the product on the field has to get better. But going into this off season, what in your mind is the biggest move that the Double E Elks need to do to start next season so they're not 0-7 to begin?
In another rebuild mode of the ongoing rebuild, it starts at the top in my mind. They need to bring in the right head coach to work with the roster they have, and then from there decide which are the most important pieces. Obviously, we've outlined the QB. Perhaps McLeod Bethel Thompson has another year, another 2 left in him. Perhaps Trey Ford's, when he does come back from injury, is ready to take that step and show he is the one who can lead this guy. And everybody wants to see that. There hasn't been a Canadian QB, with a big nod to Nathan Rourke here, and obviously that's going to be another tremendous story to watch yet again in BC. But boy, just to have a homegrown talent, a U Sports developed QB. Come on, we don't see that at all.
Right.
And he's fun. He's exciting. So maybe that is your built-in piece of the puzzle that was never really used to its full potential by Chris Jones and the last regime. So, I mean, in my mind, when you ask a question, what needs to be done? It's big picture at this point. It is head coach, it is QB. That will determine the vision, the voice, and the identity of this team going forward. So, these are big decisions what they want to do there.
Gerry, really quickly, last one for you. The name, because it popped up, and he said the emphasis on double E. We didn't see many antlers in that press conference. I didn't think we saw any at all. You had to really look on the jersey patch. But where do you think this goes? What do you think the right course of action is? And this is a guy that loved the Eskimos, and there's a lot of older Edmontonians and generations of Edmontonians who love the Eskimos, and I know there's a whole can of worms that comes with that term and that name, but it's not anywhere near as what Washington dealt with, and certainly what the former or the Guardians' old name is.
Right. And talk about a whole old can of worms to reopen there.
Yeah.
You know what? And maybe the idea is initially, what's the one thing we can do to maybe provide ourselves a little separation with the experiment that was the name change. Does that need to be revisited? You know what? Does it need to go back to Eskimos or what it was, or can it be something different again? I don't know. Larry Thompson did use the name Elks. I went through the tape again, and not a lot. Maybe once. I don't know if it was even twice.
Yep.
But boy, when he was asked about that, it was quite a cryptic response. He basically said, you know what, we're gonna focus on news of the day and the ownership and the celebration that should be around that. Mm-hmm. But then he also said, I will tell you, we're going to be focusing on the Double E brand. So, I mean, as what you will, he and his wife are both standing in front of a big shiny Double E logo in the background behind them. That wasn't the traditional green and gold, double E over double E. It was the same shape. It looked a little different, but you can't call yourselves a symbol unless you're Prince. Rest in peace. But we'll see what they do end up calling themselves. It seems like there was a lot of reference to this whole double E thing. So that's what I've been calling it. This is the Larry Thompson's double E era. So we'll see what they choose to do there too.
Absolutely. We'll see where this goes. It's a fresh start, a baby wipe, as Joaquin Gage put it. And I think the parents out there can appreciate that one.
It's
and
because it was poop, Tommy.
It was poop for the last 5 years. Yes, I got it.
I got it.
Yeah,
all right.
So it was a waste.
Yeah.
It was a dirty diaper, and maybe the good times are coming and some growth and success for the Double E, the green and gold, the Edmonton Elks. Big G, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for the insight. You had the crystal ball a couple of summers ago, and it all came to fruition, and let's see if that leads to butts in the seats, maybe a refurbished Commonwealth or a new Commonwealth or something. And ultimately, I think people around here probably just want to see Grey Cup rings and some added to the 14 that have been won. Thanks, G.
Fantastic, gents.
There you go. Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media. Like he said, he was on the beat since 2009. I remember that game against Saskatchewan, and I think they had like 63,000. It was not the Calgary blanking. That happened in, I think, 2003. But that game against Sask, I think the Elks, or the Eskimos at the time, lost it. They had to sell, they sold seats behind the riders' bench at field level.
Oh, really?
And they had to put up, at the time they had fencing around because they didn't want people running onto the field. And one of the good things they did is they took that fencing down. But they sold seats, and I think they put like bar tops.
Really?
That's how packed and in demand that game was.
Wow.
It's a far cry from that right now, obviously.
I know, but and even like Gerry mentioned, the hair raising on his arms. Even last game, hearing some excitement finally. And the roar of the crowd was louder than I've heard it in a long time. Just with some success, right? But yeah, they got to fix what's on the field, and I selfishly, if it was all possible, how great would it be to? I mean, this is talking millions and millions of dollars, obviously, but putting in a facility designed for CFL football, like you see in Sask, right? But
Winnipeg too. Fantastic.
I call them cathedrals in the Premier League. In the UK, it's unbelievable, these things. The fans are so close to the action.
Yeah.
Right? And they're designed specifically for that. If they could get to that level, what's the like? Is it 30,000? Is that the kind of
30 to 35 is the wheelhouse. Like on a
and you still can have some pretty good concerts and stuff. You know, that's.
I think here we could pull off 40. That's just my personal opinion. I'd like to see it.
Summertime, you can. I think you can. Yeah.
This is a city that gets behind big events, and they can turn a football game into a big event. Great stuff from Gerry Moddejonge. Coming up next, Joaquin will hit you with kind of easy trivia. If you want to play, text in to Trev that you want to play to 780-218-9999. Get your questions in for 3 questions too many as we roll on here on the Nielsen Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Gazzola in for Dusty, Gager in for LTE. Time now for a sports update with YTT.
It's official. Larry Thompson is the newest owner in the CFL. Thompson will be cheering on his 2-7 Elks as they head out east to take on the 2-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats for their first game of this road trip. Kickoff for that one starts tomorrow at 5. The Ottawa Red Blacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders last night in a thriller by the score of 31-29, thanks to Lewis Ward's 51-yard kick with no time on the clock. Tonight in the CFL, just one game, which sees the best in the West, the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the number 1 seed in the whole CFL, the Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes' Cody Fajardo is listed as backup QB for tonight's game and will dress for the first time in a month. In the majors, the Blue Jays hit off their 3-game series tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. The Jays have won their previous 4 games heading into their afternoon ball game, which starts at 12:20. And this weekend is UFC 305. The only fight I'll be watching is the main event, which will see former middleweight champ Israel Adesanya taking on current champ Dricus du Plessis. The last time Adesanya was in the octagon, he lost the belt to Sean Strickland, which is who du Plessis took the belt from. And now, here we are. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would
8:07, an abrupt ending to the song. You were singing it, YouTube Trev.
Sorry, it's usually like because we shut the door, but you didn't even open the door, and then we shut the door, and it's like that's how we end it.
I don't have that relationship with Will and the Wolf. I'm not cruel to them. Leave them in this back closet of our studios.
Sorry, boys.
I appreciate them for their artistical abilities.
No one's opened that poor door for them.
It's the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty. You got Joaquin Gage in for LTEYTT, singing along, having a good time, picking someone for Kinda Easy Trivia. You can text us, Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. And, of course, we're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. And also, we'll get to the Cool Bet Hotline of the day. We've got Joel from Citizen Brewing coming up for Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Gager's giving the fist bump if you're not watching. If you are watching, what's up, Nasties? Hit that thumbs up. I want to get to 200 so I can hear the Wallace Shawn Vegas. Changing 200.
Do what I do. Go to your neighbor's house, go into their house, and just go onto their YouTube account and hit the subscribe and the thumbs up.
That's not a B&E at all.
No.
No, that's totally legal. And then, of course, A&W text of the day. We've had some good ones, and I'm going to pick a winner, and we've got a GC on the line for that. Of course,
B&E.
GC.
That's being entertaining, Tommy.
Breaking and entering.
Oh, right.
Breaking and entering, yeah. Also, not good. We do not encourage and condone that here at EST. So keep those texts coming. Keep the thumbs up popping up. And we cruise into hour number 3 here on the Nielsen Show. I think Trev has somebody ready to rock. It's been a fun show. It should be a great weekend. You got some CFL action. The Olympics are over. We're kind of in that last lull of the sports year where there's still baseball, right? But players should be rolling into cities for hockey in the next week or two.
Well, I texted you yesterday because we were talking about, what are we going to discuss? And I was thinking, well, if I remember correctly, the WHL
that's coming up quick.
I saw some Tri-City Americans rolling in or something like that. So I thought, maybe there's a little Oil Kings news. Can't wait to see some of those games this year.
They're going to be great. Matt Barrett joining the broadcast team with the Oil Kings. Congratulations to him. Good Edmonton boy. Northsider, Castle Downs. And a great lineage of broadcasters calling games for the Oil Kings. Guy Flaming, I think, will still be the color commentator. And you can catch Guy on the Pipeline Show right here on EST on Saturdays. And then it's replayed during the week. All right, YouTube Trev, who's playing Kinda Easy Trivia for Mr. Mike's?
Scalding Gourd.
Scalding Gourd.
Let's go Scalding Gourd. Come on, baby.
That's hot. Mr. Mike's Kinda Easy Trivia. Check out Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever. In the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. And they have 6 o'clocker lager on tap. Good morning, Scalding Gourd. I haven't talked to you in a little while. You doing good?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
Just a straight up thug over here, that's for sure. I'm kidding. All is well, my friend. All is well. All right, Joaquin's gonna have the questions for you. Best of luck, Scalding Gourd. I'm gonna hand it off to Joaquin Gage.
All right, Scalding Gourd. This let's hope you've been listening this morning. All right, Trev, you start the ticker after I read the first question. Did the Edmonton Elks change ownership yesterday?
Yes.
Who purchased the Elks, Larry Thompson or Jerry Jones?
Larry Thompson.
Ray gun is the biggest controversy in the Olympics since Ben Johnson. True or false?
True.
What Edmonton Sports Talk employee enjoys a little light phone book reading in the evening?
The man, YouTube Trev.
And what day is it today?
I think it's Friday.
All right, that's 5 for 5.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year, we took it to the limit. Take it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Congratulations to Scalding Gord going 5 for 5 on Kinda Easy Trivia. Gator, nicely done, pal.
Hey, was that all right?
That was very good. I enjoyed that very much.
I didn't know about the ray gun. I was worried, but
No,
I've been pumping that thing all week. So
Yeah, no, it was good. It's fun to kind of crack on a little bit, but if you have any last second questions for or 3 questions too many, brought to you by Park Mazda, fire those our way. 780-218-9999. Of course, Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Mitch Lewicki, who swung and missed out on buying the Elks when he tried to trade cars in for the franchise.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, well, came up with that one really quickly. But all right, 3 questions too many. I have a couple that I want to get to, some good ones. And if you want to fire any last ones under the wire, do so at the text line. And of course, keep hitting that thumbs up. I want to hear Wallace Shawn changing 200.
Come on, Pete.
I love that. We can get there. It's Friday. Let's have a good time. Okay. Big Slam Nasty was asking, Tommy, did you have to set a dozen alarms this morning, or did you stay up all night so you didn't risk sleeping in? I'll hang up and listen. Great show, fellas. Big Slam Nasty, thank you. Appreciate your concern for my sleep patterns. I actually got a good night's rest. I think I went to bed around 11:30.
Oh, yeah?
I was up at 4:15.
I won't tell you. I got to say, I was a little worried when I didn't see I got here before you did, Tommy. I go, oh, my God.
3 alarms. 3 alarms I set. I set them every day, but usually it's at like 7 to like 7:15 in 5-minute increments. I try not to hit snooze. It was 4 to 4:35. I extended those increments today.
Are you like a snooze guy?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not
I hate
good.
you people.
It's not good.
Are you a snooze guy, Trev?
What do you mean by snooze guy?
You hit the snooze button and lay there.
Yeah. I'm
You
pretty
are?
bad. Yeah. I think I have like 12 alarms I set.
Whoa.
The first one starts at 3:45, and then it's 4 o'clock, and then it's 4:15. And then it's 4:25, and then it's 4:30, and then it's 4:35, and then it's 4:40, all the way up to 5.
Man,
just because I'm a heavy sleeper,
Yeah.
and I need to I get scared, so I have to set quite a bit.
I get the fear too.
Really?
Yes.
Terrible. It's a terrible
Yeah, it is.
feeling.
I'm like, I'll go, hey Siri, turn on all my alarms, and then I'll like have to look and make sure they're all set, and I'll be like, all right, like are they at the right time? And I get very scared of that because.
Man, I hate you guys. If we were together in a relationship, I'd hate you both because my wife does that. She's got like 18 alarms.
That's a lot.
And
of alarms.
she keeps hitting snooze on all of them. She won't turn them off.
There's something so satisfying about snooze. I don't know what it is.
No, there's nothing sasatisfying about
there
snooze
is.
because I'm sitting there while she gets up, leaves her phone, and it keeps going off.
That's just cruel.
I got to keep going over and turning. And sometimes I'm so tired and I can't find her phone.
Yeah.
So I have to phone it from my phone to turn it off.
Oh my!
And so
goodness.
I'm shot out of a cannon. As soon as that first note hits, I'm up out of bed. Like it's.
I wish I had that.
My son and I are like that. It goes up. Like I can hear. He gets up at the same time I do, and our phones obviously go off at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I get up and I can hear him pop up too. So it's in the genes.
You guys are in sync. That's wonderful. Great question, Big Slam Nasty. It's funny, like morning patterns, and everybody's a little bit different, have their nuances for sure. But I wasn't here. I had to pull over, top on with McCord and the Bear Boys, which was nice because I haven't been on with them since 1260 got shut down, and it was just nice to chat with McCord. So,
are they going to be at the Estes?
Maybe. I hope so, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
We have to discuss the Estes right away here, too. All right, question number 2 for 3 questions too many, brought to you by Park Mazda. Hampton Steve says, morning, boys. What do you think of building a new 30,000-seat football/soccer stadium at the old Rexall Place grounds? Once you demolish the arena, that's a big lot with plenty of room to build. There's also an LRT station already on site and lots of parking space at the Agricom. However, I think it would need to be a city-owned stadium to get any municipal tax dollars contributed to the project. Joaquin, I will allow you to answer that one from Hampton Steve.
I like it. I mean, in a perfect world, I think that's what That's what you want, a venue specifically designed for both footballs, soccer and CFL football. Just a new facility. Are they doing it in Calgary? Are they building a
football stadium
beside? No, so it's not. That was talk about that, right?
Stamps have been kind of left in the dust.
Yeah.
They did initially. It was supposed to be a dual facility side by side, and the renderings looked kind of makeshift.
I mean, I look to the U.S. and most of those big venues, the baseball stadium is right next to the football stadium, right? And in a perfect world, that's kind of, I think, what you want.
Yep.
But no, I think that's a great idea. I think they were talking about housing going in there in that area of town.
Yeah, it's such a big plot of land in a pretty prominent part of the city that's connected. You have Gretzky Drive, you have 118th Ave, 112th Ave. Borden Park's right there. And I like what's happened with Borden Park. It's kind of had a revitalization, which is great. Infill housing there.
Yeah.
You know what, Hampton Steve? I don't know if the Coliseum lot is big enough for a 30 to 35,000 seat stadium. I think the Spectrum track would be it's not as close to the LRT. There'd have to be a bit of a walk.
Whatever.
I'm cool with that. I get it. The other thing, this is just a me idea, is what if you demolished the stadium component of Commonwealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you kept because there's the rec center, there's the field house, there's the locker rooms that have just been redone. They pumped a bunch of money into that. And then you built a new stadium, 35, 40, whatever, on that parcel of land, and it just reconnects to the facilities. And it would have to be a city-owned, but again, the lease, just like Rogers Place is city-owned, but it's leased to OEG, Cates Group.
I like that.
Idea. It's just an idea that's already on existing LRT line. And the other thing too is north of Commonwealth right now, that's a it's a mature neighborhood. It's getting a little bit of a revitalization. Obviously not as fast as some other mature. I think of Westmount's getting a lot of love these days, and
Bonnie Doon. Oh my
Bonnie
gosh.
Doon, absolutely. But on the southeast portion of that area, there's new condo towers that have gone up. There's a few low-rise condos being built. It's kind of getting a bit of that on that southeast corner. So, obviously, my Italian church, where I grew up going on Sundays, and we'd park in the Commonwealth Stadium parking lot, and I'd begrudgingly walk to church, Santa Maria Goretti, oh my God, the next hour is going to be, and then I'd have to go to Sunday school. That part, the Italians will always maintain that, obviously. It's a point of pride. So that part of it's good. And it's just an idea. But yes, Hampton Steve, if it's, let's say at the Northlands area and they find a solution there, great. If it happens to be at the site of Commonwealth, somewhere else, just, in time, we're going to need a new facility for concerts and the football team. And it would be great to have soccer again. It really would be. An appropriate soccer stadium, because Clark Stadium it's a high school field, right? So, open to anything as long as it improves and benefits the city. And listen, tax dollars generally get involved in these things. We do need a new hospital.
Yeah.
We do need upgrades and stuff. But those things come and go, ebbs and flows, what the cities need, what money's allocated. But in time, and hopefully with new ownership, there could be something there. Wherever it is, if it's Northlands or Commonwealth site, great. Or somewhere else. Tyler in Terwilliger, final question for 3 questions too many, brought to you by Park Mazda, says, how close does McDavid get to Gretzky when it comes to Edmonton Oilers' all-time points? Because Gretzky leads the way at 1,669, Jari Kurri at 1,043, Mark Messier 1,034, McDavid sits 4th at 982. Gager.
Ooh. So, he gets close.
I think
he beats it.
Yeah.
He beats that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think he beats it. I think he gets to 1,100 career points this season.
Depends if he resigns, Tommy.
Oh. I think he's resigning. Oh, don't do that.
I know.
The Broberg Holloway wound has not closed.
Oh, gosh. We haven't spoken about that at all.
We'll get to that later. We have half an hour left. No news. I haven't heard anything. Go ahead, Trev.
Sorry. If he stays an Oiler his whole career, he will beat it. And I've said this for the last 2 seasons now. I've done a video on it. I've done the maths, what he'd have to average to reach 2,000 points. And it's like 2,000 points in, I think it was, I forget how many seasons, but it was like 120 points for the next like 10 seasons. And that's it. That's the number, which I think, and who's to say he can't have like another 150 point season. So I'm sticking to it. I think he'll join Gretzky as the only 2,000 point player
in the NHL.
Oh yeah,
well, that's a bold statement, Cotton.
That is. But I think you do have something, because I was rubbing shoulders with a good friend of mine. Watch your toes, Tommy. I'm dropping names.
Oh snap!
Jason Chimera,
good dude,
a great dude, and he played over 1,100 games, I believe. And the reason why is Chimmer can still fly.
Yeah.
Like, you get out on the ice with him and you're shocked that he's still not playing. And with Connor, I can really see him playing into his 40s just because of that skating ability.
Wow.
Right? So, yeah, he's gonna flirt with the 2,000 number for sure, barring any significant injury.
You know what, Gager? I don't think that's far-fetched at all, because he is the most dynamic hockey player I have ever seen in my life. And I think even the old school guys would be like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know how you could do that in hockey, and he does it. So great question. I appreciate it. I think he does become the Oilers' all-time points leader. I think there's a cup or two there. I think this year is going to be pretty close.
It could be.
Yeah, and man, it's crazy. Gretzky played 9 NHL seasons in Edmonton, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was the anniversary of the trade.
Yeah.
And it was like,
gotta say, happy birthday to Craig McTavish. It was his birthday yesterday.
I
sent him
Mac T.
I sent him a text, and I'm dropping names all over the place.
That's fine. I'll pick him up.
I said happy birthday, and he wrote back, thanks, Gager. He's a smooth Mario Lemieux right now. That's what he wrote back. Just entering his prime, Mac.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mac T. And he's a great guy and a neighbor. He lives like right across the street from me. I run into him around the neighborhood at some local establishments, and I'm sure he was celebrating, rightly so. Jay Milne texting in. What's up, glue guy? And he had something to say about the alarms. He goes, I share your pain, fellas. I sleep with terror every time I fill in on the morning show.
Yeah.
There's just something, it's just like, it's on your like maybe subconscious.
After doing it, the terror's gone a little bit because I'm popping up now. My internal clock is...
that's good. That's a great instinct.
My internal Rolex is ticking nicely.
Well... It's a Rolex after all.
Folex.
Oh, whatever. Nobody has to know. That was 3 questions too many, brought to you by Park Mazda, as well as Kinda Easy Trivia. Congratulations to Scalding Gourd, picking up a $25 GC from Mr. Mike's, the casualest place ever. We do need to get to this. Wannick told me I had to, so I better listen, because I don't want a salty Matthew on a Friday, because it's my damn weekend too, and yours and our listeners and viewers. So we have the Estes coming up September 17th. It's going to be at the Garneau Theater. Tickets $10. If you want to join us, we're just doing it to cover costs of the theater. This is going to be a fun night. We're saying black tie formal, but listen, we're not going to enforce anything. I'm going tux.
Nice.
I'm doing it.
Of course you are.
And there have been tickets sold, and there's been good interest. So email Maddie at matt@edmontonsportstalk.com if you'd like to join us. It's going to be a fun time. It's a big theater. Hopefully we get a few hundred people there just out for a good time. We're going through categories for the Estes.
Let's not treat this place like a hunting ground, Tommy, like you did at the Bash.
It's
right?
not. No, I'll have someone there with me. It'll be great. The category we're discussing today is Friend of EST, and that's the best friend of EST pod. If you don't know, we don't have We used to do at 1260, it was just ESPN radio. We'd take whatever they were playing on their feed when we weren't live with our own original programming. We did something different here. We wanted to keep it local. We have Friends of EST. We partnered up with some great podcasts that focus on local sports, as well as like Crush Performance is back. We had Crush Performance at 1260. Of course, Pipeline Show, great. I mentioned Guy Flaming. He's back with us, which is fantastic. So the Friend of EST category, we have the Best Friend of EST pod, MCTV, with Corey Graham and Mark Michaud, our former colleagues. We've got the Elks Call, great show. Turf District, great show. Pipeline Show, obviously we love. Oilers Live, Crush Performance, and Gridiron, which is F1/NFL. And to those that are unaware, and I'm sure most of the people listening and watching know that we have 24/7 programming, 365. The original and live content is expanding very, very soon. We're very excited about that.
Yeah, we don't put ourselves in a box here. It's more than just there's multiple ways to consume us.
Exactly.
Num, num, num,
num, num, num, num. Yeah. So there you go. Friend of EST category, MCTV, Elks Call, Turf District, Pipeline Show, Oilers Live, Crush Performance, and Gridiron, which is F1/NFL pod on Saturdays. The other category we're discussing today is Walkout of the Year, Best Exit on Live EST shows. Right now we have 2 competitors. Maybe we need more, so let us know via the text line or the nasty chat, 780-218-9999. The Walkout of the Year candidates so far. Many Eric leaving a couple of drafts so he's done it many times. And then Awanek walking out after resigning. And if there were any other walkouts, like maybe someone had to leave abruptly during a show, I would nominate Sean Bell on the Hangout this past Wednesday, walking out twice.
Really?
To throw up.
Well, I know where my vote's going.
Yeah. Nobody knew that little tidbit. So that little nugget for you on a Friday. Bell Z, good trooper, came in. It was the local public eatery golf tournament, which is always a blast. And they had a great time. And Bell Z had green light.
Well, he is pregnant.
He is pregnant.
Little morning sickness. That's understandable.
Yes. He's drinking for 2. Oh, that's terrible. So Belzy had to get up a couple of times. He was fighting it. He was oddly quiet if you were watching and being like, "Where is Sean there still?" He was. And somebody actually texted in during the show. I was like, I didn't even realize Belzy was there. He was. He had to leave and excuse himself for the restroom. Avery had a classic walkout on the Hangout where he, I think, got stuck in the restroom, and if you stay in there past like a few minutes, the light goes off.
Oh.
It has the automatic, and I think he got caught with the light off in there and was stuck for a bit. So I would nominate those 2. If you have any others, let us know, 780-218-9999, and of course via the nasty chat. Friend of EST, that's the best Friend of EST podcast. Those candidates and finalists and nominees are set, obviously. And then Walkout of the Year, Best Exit on Live EST show. We have Eric leaving a couple of drafts, and then Awanek walking out after resigning, which was epic. I'm nominating Belzy on Wednesday, and then Avery early in the EST days on the Hangout, getting stuck in the men's room with the lights off. So let us know your thoughts. The Esties are happening. It is a little bit silly. It is a little bit ridiculous. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we're doing it at the Garneau Theater, September 17th. Tickets $10 if you want to join us. It's just going to be a good night. If you want to dress up, have a fun time. There's going to be a red carpet photo booth. It's going to be the show starts at 7, and there will be presenters. There are legitimate awards. We are making a mockery of the ESPYs, but you know what? It's just a reason to get together, have fun as we get set for another hockey season, which is going to be a busy fall.
Cool. Are we? Do we need to hit the cool bet thing? Because I'm looking at.
Do you want to hit the cool bet hotline of the day? All right, all you if you want to do it, go for it.
Yeah, no, it's UFC specials. So Down Under. I wish Zacticum was here because I'm going to butcher these names. One, finish the job. So Dricus Duplessis against Israel Adesanya. The fight will go to distance. No. Tua Vasa against Yair Rosenstruik. Fight will go to distance. No. And Li Jingliang and Carlos Perates. Fight will go to the distance. No. Plus 215. The next UFC special for this weekend, Shrimp on the Barbie, which will not feature Ray Gunn. Kai Kara France against Steve Urseg. Fight result, Steve Urseg. Tua Tiovasa again against Jair Rosenstruck. Fight result will go to Tia. And Junior Tafa versus Walter Walker. Junior Tafa taking that. That's at plus 798. And then if you look over the lock shop, pretty cool for the community. Hamilton Tiger Cats this weekend, Edmonton Elks. We got the money line with the Elks. And Lions Boo Bombers, which our friend, I believe Dustin Nielson will be calling. And the return of Nathan Rourke. We have the Blue Bombers money line plus 328. So I don't know. Do you think the Blue Bombers can pull that off?
They've been
risky,
playing better.
But hey, to win some, you got to give some.
Ooh, baby. I'd take the Lions with Nathan Rourke getting that spark back. Because it just wasn't there last weekend with Dolagala. Elks took advantage. Yeah. Good stuff, Gager. That was a cool bet. Hotline of the day. And Big Maple texted in and said, that's a definite sprinkle. Yes, sir. It is the Nielson Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. This month's incentive is employee pricing. Once again, here's what we're promoting this month. Save up to $12,000 on a new Tahoe or Suburban. We have excellent stock available. And it's perfect for skiing, hockey, and accommodating all the car seats and strollers. Truly the best vehicle for a family. And then save up to $14,000 on a Silverado, $1,500, and the HDs, southfortchevrolet.com. All right, we're going to get to a sports update with YTT. And then when we come back, Joel from Citizen Brewing. It's time for breakfast and delicious, delicious beers. Here we go.
It's official, Larry Thompson is the newest owner in the CFL. Thompson will be cheering on his 2-7 Elks as they head out east to take on the 2-7 Hamilton Tiger Cats for their first game of this road trip. Kickoff for that one starts tomorrow at 5. The Ottawa Red Blacks defeated the Calgary Stampeders last night in a thriller by the score of 31-29 thanks to Lewis Ward's 51-yard kick with no time on the clock. Tonight in the CFL, just one game, which sees the best in the West, the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the number 1 seed in the whole CFL, the Montreal Alouettes. Alouettes' Cody Fajardo is listed as backup QB for tonight's game and will dress for the first time in a month. In the majors, the Blue Jays hit off their 3-game series tonight in Chicago against the Cubs. The Jays have won their previous 4 games heading into their afternoon ball game, which starts at 12:20. Elsewhere in sports, Austin Matthews officially hit the ice with the C. Blue Jackets GM gave Patrick Laine permission to talk to any team he wants to, and Nicolas Cage will be playing NFL legend John Madden in an upcoming biopic. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months interest-free and be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor. You can find them next to Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
8:37 in Edmonton. Good morning. How are you? It is the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Tom Gazzola in for Dusty's on the CFL on TSN call, obviously. And then Joaquin Gage in for Lieutenant Eric. YTT holding things down behind the computers as we get you through what has been a fun Friday show. So I'm looking forward to this portion of it. I called it breakfast because I had a coffee today, but this is the yum part of it. Belsey just called me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, he heard me nominate him for exit of the year because he had to go to the restroom to throw up after having too much fun at a golf tournament on Tuesday. That's not the case. Thank God. Hallelujah. All right, time to get to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Love this part. I missed it. I haven't done it in so long. So we welcome in Joel from Citizen Brewing. Joel, good morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, guys. Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing even better right now. I'm not going to lie to you. As we roll into this thing, where are you joining us from? It looks like you're at the brewery right now.
I am at the brewery. Yeah. Trying to find a quiet space so it doesn't pick anything up on the microphone.
No. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Looks great. Very good fitting stuff for this segment. We do have 4 beers here in front of us. Give us a little insight into what we're going to be sampling and what's going on over at Citizen lately.
For sure. We're going to be trying 4 beers, 2 cores, 2 summer seasonals that we really only have for this time of year. Here at Citizen, we're all about making approachable beers that we like to drink as well as everybody else. We're in a small community in the middle of the Greenview Industrial District in Calgary. Kind of huge patio, so this time of year is our real money maker. Lots of space for people, lots of parties and stuff like that on the weekend. It's a great time, really great time. So,
I'm actually going to be in Calgary all week. I might have to stop by. Yeah.
Joel, tell us a little bit about. I'm a Marvel fan. I love the origin stories of superheroes and breweries. How did Citizen begin, and how did you all get started in brewing beer in the first place?
For sure. So, I haven't been here since the beginning, but it was started in 2017 by a group of guys with different backgrounds. So a couple of restaurateurs, guy in beer sales. So kind of all the stuff you need to get a good brew pub sort of started. Myself, I started on the medical track. So I grew up in the Okanagan, went to school, did like pre-med, biochemistry, stuff like that. Finished and decided I didn't really want to do the medical thing anymore. So moved to Vancouver, drank a lot of craft beer and fell in love with the scene. And then I just sort of thought like, oh, maybe I could make some beer. Looked it up, and they had started a program at Kwantlen Polytechnic University down there, very similar to the Olds program. I got into the first class of that, excelled, and a few years later, here we are. So.
You're the head brewmaster. I have before we start diving into these bad boys, they're nice and cold. They were shipped over yesterday, and they're ready to rock. And we did get the gear. We got the glasses, which are fantastic. The hats, super nice. Joel, you're rocking one right now. As it is late summer, I guess we're creeping into late summer, but when it comes to this time of year, are you starting to shift your focus into more fall-type beers, or are you still pumping out the summer beers? How does that timeline work in your books?
For sure. So in the tank right now, we do have a lot of our fall stuff kind of ready, getting ready for that September, post Labor Day sort of dealio. Mm-hmm. On tap right now, it's still all summer stuff. We've actually got a crazy party tomorrow, or tomorrow, today's Friday, so Saturday, sort of in an attempt to blow out some of the summer beers before that time comes, or at least help us along that way. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely at the forefront of our minds. Like tanks are bubbling away with fall stuff. So
there's 3 guys right here that can help you blow out that summer stuff if you need.
Beauty.
Volunteer. Yeah, absolutely. Let's start cracking these bad boys, and you take us where we need to go. Yeah.
So we'll start with the beer of the week this week. The Cittadino Italian Pilsner.
Ciao bello.
Yeah. If you look on the back, the ingredients are in Italian too, actually. If you,
My God. All right.
But yeah, so nice Italian Pilsner. So dry hopped with some hops from Europe and malts from Europe and everything else. So light, crisp, nice smooth bitterness. with some floral character and some herbal character. Yeah.
Okay, so immediately I'm sniffing this, and you're talking about the floral character, the hops from Europe. I'm getting flashbacks to my no.
Okay.
And he would drink birras, as he called them, in these small glasses, and he would just sit there and he'd pour and he'd sip. But the other thing I'd ask you too, if it's an Italian style beer, like, are you drawing inspiration from a Moretti or a Peroni, or is this just, hey, I want to do my own interpretation of an Italian beer, if that's a valid question?
Nope, for sure. No. So when I made it, it was more figuring out what an Italian Pilsner entails and then trying to replicate it the best we could. So an Italian Pilsner is kind of a spin-off on a German Pilsner. So a bit more bitter than your traditional run-of-the-mill Pilsner. At the end, a little bit of smoothness. And then you dry hop it with those noble hops out of Europe. So that's where that floral character... These ones are German. So we've got 2 different hops in there. Tettnanger and Hallertau Mittelfrüh. Mouthful there, but they give it that nice sort of subtle, like the floral and then the herbal, a little bit of spiciness. It's really nice. Yeah.
Joel, this it smells like my Nona's and Nono's Cantina, and to that I say salute.
Salute.
There we go. Trev's got a full one. Woo. I love this beer.
Baffangulo.
You guys know way more Italian than I do. There we go.
That was way over the line. To all my paisans, earmuffs, if you're listening later, we apologize. Joel, like, I'm getting the flashbacks. I'm not even BSing. I'm serious. Like, this is, I'm getting a taste of Italy when I sip on this. So I think you nailed it, coming from a northern Italian. So, and then you got Paisan Party Graham over there, who's got Italian blood, and he's given the double salute. I love that one. Okay,
good stuff.
Where are we going next?
All right, so we'll go to the yellow can. So that's the Hawaiian pineapple wheat ale.
Ooh.
So one of our summer seasonals. This guy here is an American wheat ale. Ours is a little different, whereas most are a combination of barley and wheat. Ours is made with 100% wheat. So, which is a pain in the butt when you're making it. Basically,
why did you do that to yourself?
Wanted to see if we could, and then wanted to see if we could. That was it. Wanted to see if we could,
and you did.
And it became popular, and now it's a pain in my butt. So it's, but it's in the summer, it's our best-selling beer without a doubt. So we put some real pineapple in there too.
You can smell the pineapple for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, what are we cheersing? Gager, I'll let you take this.
Yeah, here's to Ken Holland's moves over the summer.
Oh boy, oh boy. This is a beer. Really, sorry, Joel. I'll just say, like, at the party tomorrow, I feel like this one's going to be super popular. Like you said, it already is, especially if it's a nice hot day down in Calgary.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's really an interesting beer with the 100% wheat. It gives it that really like thick, sort of chewy mouthfeel, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still all refreshing. So it's kind of like a bit of a. It's weird.
It's like an adult juice box.
It's weird that's
big. That's huge. Yeah.
It's very summery though. Like I didn't expect it to be that sharp freshness.
I'll say this: you get like the peachy sours and the apricot and apricot beers and the blueberry and raspberry beers, and it's like I'm one and done. I'll have it. It's hot outside. I'll one and done one of those. Right? The pineapple, like, you could have a night. I feel like you can go back to it multiple times in a night, and you're not getting overwhelmed with the fruit.
No, still very much beer. The pineapple's not overpowering. Yeah.
Really like that one, and totally understand why it's very popular, especially this time of year. All right, Joel, where to next?
Cool. We're going to go with the black can now.
Okay.
So this is our Senior Citizen Mexican lager.
Very nice.
So this is a little darker, like an amber.
Yep. You can see it right away.
Yeah, back in 2021, we won Best American Lager in Canada for this one. So, it's pretty good. So it's toasty, bit of caramel sweetness in there.
Oh yeah. Trev is requesting this one. He wants just give him the can, basically, Joaquin. So this one, best American beer in
Amber
Canada.
Lager. Amber Lager.
Okay.
Amber Lager.
Yeah. In 2021. Yeah.
2021. Okay.
Yeah.
What should I be expecting here?
Caramel, Joel said. And
Bit
what
of
else?
caramel, bit of toastiness. Still lighter though on the palate due to the corn that we add to it. So still quite refreshing. Just a lot more flavor than you're going to get out of your traditional lighter lager and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Trev, you get this one, and then Joel will bring it home with the last cheers. Go ahead, Trev.
Sounds
good.
You're
doing the cheers. Don't be surprised. You're the one who asked for the whole can.
Cheers to Gager for these very generous pours and for filling in all week. He's just absolutely crushing it.
Well done. Well done.
Crushing the beers.
Toasty is very appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And as a fan of caramel, I'm looking for it. I'm searching, but I'm getting is it fair to call it subtle hints of caramel, or do you want it to be...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's not gonna hit you in the face like a Werther's or anything like that, right? But it's, yeah.
Well, fantastic.
Joaquin?
Yeah, no, that's good. I would drink these all night. That'd be no problem with that one.
Yeah.
That's what
I
like
could see you drinking these all night.
These are more my style, like a little bit, not, I don't want to say full body, but the hints of the caramel, that's really nice. That's a really good beer, Joel.
Thank you.
I understand why it won. Okay, last one.
Last one. So our Senorita Margarita Goza. So German style. Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's actually funny. If you mix this one with a little bit of the last one that we did, the Senor with the Senorita, it's kind of like a little bit of a dark cerveza with lime. It's pretty much my favorite thing to drink right now. So
It actually
might
reminds
have
me
to
of when
try
I was
that
back
after.
in Mexico. So,
Yeah, cool. But yeah, no. So this guy here, German style sour, salted slightly. Not going to be huge, but just going to round out the palate. Real lime in there,
is
zest
there lime?
of
I was
orange.
just going to ask.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I smelled was the lime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So more
Zest
of a beer margarita kind of theme?
Little
to this
bit,
one?
yeah. Hence the name, yeah. And yeah.
Joel, you have the last cheers. What are we cheersing to, my friend?
Oh my gosh. Cheers to you guys for having us on today. I mean, gosh, holy
Love
smokes.
The feeling's
Keep
mutual.
doing this every week. It's amazing. Thank you.
We love it.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, no complaints here. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
The lime.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's huge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is one where I'm like, okay, I need one of these. And I feel like, for me at least, Joel, I'm a pill lager guy.
Yeah,
I would strategize my night by kicking it off with this. And then I might roll into the Hawaiian pineapple wheat. And then that's my night. Like that, if I was to plan it out beer-wise.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. The sours are a little bit more. Yeah.
I'm going
Oh, you're doing it.
I'm going to go with I do it exactly what you said. Put a little bit of the Senor with the Senorita, and I'll cheers Tommy to a good weekend hunting.
Thank you. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Cuts
It's
nice.
good
Brightens
mixture.
it up a bit.
Yeah, I like that. Perfect. It's
fun.
Perfect.
So, Citizen Brewing, this is, we got the beer of the week is the Italian Cittadino.
Yeah.
Cittadino.
Smells like my Nono's Cantina. Tastes even better. And you guys have a big bash tomorrow night. If anybody's heading down to Calgary like myself, where can they find you? And what else do we need to know about Citizen going forward here?
Yeah, for sure. So we're at 227 35th Avenue Northeast. So we're right in the Greenview Industrial District. All day tomorrow, we're calling it our Endless Summer Party. We got bands in the afternoon. We got a special menu. Like yesterday, I helped our chef make a whole bunch of Spam fries. It's gonna be great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really good. And then deals on our summer beers and stuff like that. So come on down. But yeah, coming forward, everyone should be looking out for our fall stuff. So bigger, bolder flavors. And yeah, patio is also fully covered, fully heated. So it's open pretty much until you can't handle it anymore, I guess, in the winter. So just keep on coming out. Yeah.
What about dogs? Are dogs allowed on the patio?
Always.
All right.
Have one myself. I don't even live near the brewery, honestly, but I love bringing my dog here on weekends. So it's
perfect.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. The pooch is always welcome, and the beer is cold. It's fresh. It's fantastic. Joel, head brewmaster from Citizen Brewing. It is the Sobeys Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, the Cittadino. Fantastic Italian. Joel, great job. These are all so good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for providing us breakfast this morning, and the gear is awesome as well. Text us right now, 780-218-9999 for a GC to Sobeys Safeway Liquor. Text in Beer Me. Joel, great stuff. Have a fantastic weekend, my friend, and then maybe catch you down at the Bash tomorrow night in Calgary.
Sounds awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. There's Joel, head brewmaster from Citizen Brewing. So good.
Interesting path to becoming a brewmaster.
Right, in the medical field.
What did he say? Biologic, like engineering? Yeah, that. So there's a reason why he's brewmaster.
Wow, the mind is always concocting.
Yeah, but that's these beers are like.
I love this Italian beer.
Okay, go for it, Tommy. Then, but definitely all different, very different tasting.
Yes,
like that's a nice little smorgasbord of different ones.
And like we talk about the labeling, and it catches your eye, and you always look for something when you go. I think a lot of it has to do with this segment, but the last 5-6 years, I look for the craft beers and the local beers, and you want to support local because you do get the experiments, and you do get the local concoctions and the local flavors and ingredients, and I appreciate that.
If you do go into a Sobeys Liquor Safeway, though, they do, and they do place it properly.
Yes.
Like when you go in and look at the craft beers, they're placed in a eye-catching view area. They're hard to miss.
Yep.
But if you are looking for, because it's supposed to be okay this weekend, right? It's not.
I think so.
I would definitely, obviously, go with the beer of the week, but the Hawaiian Pineapple Wheat Ale, only 4.7 alcohol, so
Trev loves it.
Very crushable.
Yeah.
I can't really compare it to any other summer beer. Like you said, sometimes it's a little bit too sweet, or this one is perfect.
That one I can ride all night.
That
is.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that.
Tommy,
stop it.
Tommy,
this is a family show.
Yeah.
No, but
I could drink this one all night long.
Yeah. No, I could ride it too on the riding lawnmower scale. That's
shirt off.
Sure. Yeah. Tarps off.
Pretty rideable.
Yeah, that's very rideable.
Absolutely. Okay, so text us 780-218-9999. Beer me if you want in on a GC to Sobeys Safeway Liquor. Our fine partners, which we love this segment. This segment is great, and especially heading into the weekend. The Cittadino, because I love a Moretti, a Peroni. I'll bounce between the two. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like as soon as I took a sniff of it, and I'm like, this is my Nono's Cantina. Yeah. He did the wine with the Damigiana, like the big.
It's a simple beer, but it's solid.
I'm a simple man, but solid too.
Yeah, that's true. I remember what kills me is when I was playing my last year in Italy in Brunico. The Peronis were at my, the corner store, and I coming from Germany and the plethora of beers, there wasn't many in Italy. But I said, okay, I'll try and I remember it was because they had the German beers, but they were more expensive there, obviously, because they had to travel. But the Peronis were a little bit more local, and I think it was like, I want to say €4 for a 6-pack. Oh. Like it was just a joke. Like they basically gave me Peronis for free, and then coming home and saying, "Oh, that's here, good."
Yeah.
You see it, and it's like $26 for 6, and I'm like, "Come on, people."
Well, if you want an alternative and you want to support local,
that is the way to go.
The Cittadino is the beer of the week at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor locations. This has been a great show. I do want to award the text of the day brought to you by A&W. at A&W. Mama knows a good price, and that simple pleasures are the best. So look no further. You can now enjoy a Mama Burger combo and a kids pack for $12.49. That's a Mama Burger fries, a regular A&W root beer, kids buddy burger, a little side of apple slices.
200.
Oh, thank you.
Right under the wire, too. I loved it.
Simple pleasures. A&W text of the day goes to Vance Van Van. I can't even read the rest of that liner after what I just witnessed. Vance Van Der Van texted in earlier, I could beat that lady in a dance-off, referring to Ray Gun.
Oh. Yeah.
And Vance Van Der Van would go on to say, and my style has been described as drunken boxing in dance form.
I see Vance as a what is it? Jean-Claude Van Damme and kickboxer.
Yeah, just not as fit and not as tall.
Whatever.
And I say that with love and all due respect. Vance Van Der Van, who is hilarious and is an absolute treat in the text line and on the nasty chat. Gager, great show. Always a pleasure.
Hey, Tommy, it's awesome. This has been a great week. Thank you, Trev, for guiding me on this weekly journey. Thanks, Dusty. Have a good weekend, everybody. This has been fantastic. Hopefully, I know they're huge shoes to fill, but hopefully I can fit these size 14s in there.
You will be just fine. Big thank you to Joel, a head brewmaster at Citizen Brewing, a fantastic descriptor of all these genuinely delicious beers. And to Tim Hauraney, F1 analyst and insider. Catch his podcast, Nailing the Apex, and you can see him on TSN. And then, of course, Gerry Moddejonge from Post Media as we discussed the Edmonton Elks ownership change. Coming up next right here on EST, Jason Milne, the glue guy, and Matthew Iwanek on the Hangout as we roll along. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you to everybody for listening. And with that, I say, have a good one. Ciao for now. We'll talk to you later.